man.
Cool, sick. Imagine you go on stream and you just like see someone that looks exactly like your brother. That'd be kind of funny. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Do you remember me, Parker?
Fetus? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Maxley, I'm so happy to hear that. W Maxley in the comment section. Quite frankly. Alrighty. Let me make sure I have everything set up. Give me 1 second. We're going to get this next person up here. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Alrighty, do give it a second. Stargazer, thank you so much for the hand heart. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, I support you.
Based. Let's go into the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
You Jewish nigger, fuck you, Ryan Guzman owns you, nigger.
Such a disgusting fuck. Low IQ MAGA on the live. Look at that. So low IQ. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Oh.
30.
You can't do that on the stream, dude. Diabolical thing to do on the stream, man.
Six heavy, woo! Yeah.
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo,
How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No.
Okay. Hey, everybody, only send a guest request if you meet this set of criteria on the screen. I'm just going to let you know, everyone, I don't have like a shit ton of time today. Like, I've got a little bit less than like my normal 4 hours. I don't want to have to ban people. So please don't do this. I don't want to have to go through and ban everyone. So please, everyone, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, but everyone's trolling you and it's so funny.
Okay. All right. I don't know what's so funny about that. It's just going to be a longer period of time before I can get a debate on, but okay. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Nigger.
Let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We literally have like 2 IQ MAGA trolls on the stream. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
What's your birth year?
2007, March 28th.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Well, at the time I couldn't vote, but I would do Donald Trump.
Okay, why so?
Well, I just personally feel like the whole abortion policy just affects me more just because my whole family's Christian. I just feel like it hits me more in my heart than something like Kamala Harris's policy would do.
Okay. Where in the Bible does it say that abortion should be illegal?
See, that's the gray area, man. But it's a hard topic.
Sure.
My main question for you.
Do you believe in
What was
separation of church and state?
Say that one more time. I'm
Do
sorry.
you believe in separation of church and state?
Yes.
Okay. Then you would obviously say that there'd be good enough reason to say that just because something's like immoral doesn't mean it should be illegal. There are plenty of things that are immoral under your perspective that you don't think should be illegal. So why is that perspective under your view that it should be illegal?
It's a hard topic, man. I'm not really too educated on the matter, to be completely honest with you, Parker. But I had a main question, because I do respect what you do, and I'm not like a lot of people that are coming on here and trolling and stuff. So I had a question that I wondered I could talk to you about.
Go for it.
I'm curious how you feel about J.D. Vance as a possible future presidential candidate, as opposed to someone like Donald Trump, because I know a lot of the issues with the Democratic Party and like the Republican Party as far as arguing is how Donald Trump has had a bit of a rough history. And like, I'm curious how you feel about J.D. Vance. And I know they've dug up some stuff on him, but as far as like him as a candidate, like, how do you feel about that?
I definitely don't like J.D. Vance in terms of his policy, in terms of the things that he advocates for. I definitely think there's a lot to be said in terms of his what he's done specifically with the Trump administration, because he specifically has said that he would change the certification of the election results in 2020 if he were the vice president at that time. That's a huge threat to our democracy. He has specifically told Donald Trump to fire all civil servants working for the federal government and replace them with people that are specific to his ideology, right? Which is definitely something that I don't agree with. And something I think is going to lead to bad outcomes in the long run. So, I mean, I can point to plenty of the things specifically in terms of Vance that are going to be like really, really bad. Those are just a few to mention.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat here saying that he's worse than Donald Trump. I mean, how do you feel about that? That's a little crazy to me.
I think people are taking a little far, because a lot of people are saying, oh, he might be able to get more authoritarian measures passed. I mean, he has less charisma, right, amongst the base. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know if I accept that argument. So I don't know. And even so, like, I mean, he's really bad. Like, I would support Vance. I would not support Vance. I would support anyone over Vance, I meant to say. Like, in terms of the Democrats, like Newsom, I would support AOC over Vance. I would support Buttigieg over Vance. Like any of the Democrats you could probably mention.
What about other possible Republican candidates? Is there any possible ones that you would prefer over Vance? Like maybe like Vivek or something like that?
I mean, I don't think Vivek will get elected into the party, because I think that the Republicans are too racist, to be totally honest with you.
Well, that's a bold statement.
I mean, it's true. Like, you can literally see how he is engaged with the Republican Party. It's like very obvious.
I think there might be a little bit of truth to that, but I mean, do you still feel like there's another possible candidate that you might prefer personally?
Like in the Republicans, I mean, I'm not a fan of Republicans, to be totally honest with you.
Well, no, I understand.
I don't really like any of them.
You know, because I feel like a big portion of the Republican Party is like, or excuse me, like a big portion of the Democratic Party is like wanting a good like character as far as the presidential candidate goes. Like I remember Kamala Harris, like one of the big arguments was she had better character. And I'm curious if like you find that any of the Republican candidates have at least a somewhat decent character, because it feels like a lot of the time you watch a lot of them.
I think John McCain had a good character. I think he was a pretty decent Republican, to be genuinely honest with you. I mean, I'm not completely familiar with all of his policies. Again, that was like when I was a lot younger. But from my understanding and from what I remember, it was definitely way better than what I see typically today with Republicans.
Fair enough. I mean, Parker, that's all I have for you, man. I appreciate what you do. So thank you, man.
For sure. Appreciate you coming up.
Thanks.
Alrighty, everyone. Let's go to the next individual real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everybody. It will help get it out to more people. All right, let's get the next person up here real quick. Alrighty. Where is he? I'm in New York. Just hanging out, chilling. Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Parker, you look tired? I mean, I am. I've definitely not been getting like the normal amount of sleep that I usually get, to be totally honest, but I'm generally fine. I think I always have the bags under my eyes, so. Alrighty, do give it a second, everyone. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
What'd you say?
How old are you?
22,
What's your birth year?
2003,
What month?
September. Just turned 22.
For sure. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I would still probably go with Trump.
Okay. Why is that?
I mean, mostly because, I mean, I was more for the immigration policy and some of the other things. But off the top of my head, I will say, I don't think both of them were good candidates. I think that J.D. Vance would have been the best president, you know what I mean? But that's my personal opinion. But I also just want to come on here and tell you that I respect you a lot for what you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So I guess, like, why would you support Trump and J.D. Vance then?
Wait, what?
Yeah, why would you support Trump and J.D. Vance over, like, Kamala Harris, for example?
Mostly, I mean, to be real, the LGBTQ and the transgender stuff that, you know, she supports, like, for kids, minors, I don't agree with that at all.
Like, what specifically?
She was for the, like, minors being able to get surgeries.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, she was.
No, she wasn't. No Democrats
Just
support
like-
that. Can you name a
Dude,
single
just like-
Democrat that is in support of that policy?
I can't off the top of my head, but it's
There-
true.
there are none.
Just like the fact that she wasn't for guns, and then she was during her campaigning. So, I mean, it's just you.
She
hear
never said
different
anything
things.
about this in terms of trans people in the past. She's never once said this.
I would have to look it up, but I know she has. I've seen the video.
I have, and I know that she hasn't. Like, for example, in 2024, I think that she didn't talk enough about trans people. The Republicans spent $250 million in advertisements specifically attacking trans people, and I think that the Democrats did not do enough to argue in support of trans people.
Well, I mean, like, everybody has their opinion. That's how I feel. But I'm just saying, like,
By the way, no Democrat
I don't
holds
think
the
what
position
Trump
that they
is
support,
doing-
like, children getting surgeries. Like, no one. Like, I've never heard a single person have that position. Ever.
Well, then you'd have to look it up because I've seen it hand in hand. Like, I've seen it, like, the videos and, like, on YouTube and interviews and stuff with her or somebody else. Like, she did it during her campaign. She did.
I promise you that's not the case, because I would hear it every single day on my stream. I promise you.
Oh, that's crazy. Because, I mean, I've heard it, so I just can't tell
Well,
you where.
I know you didn't. Genuinely.
Oh, I know I did. I don't want to argue with you because it's a debate. You know what I mean? Like, I mean.
Well, I just want to let you know, I've been doing these debates for a very long time. I debate this every single day. I promise you, if this were true, I would hear it a million times, and also I would have seen it, because I genuinely do this as my job. So, like, I'm not lying. I'm being totally serious with you. I wouldn't be so upfront if it was the case that I wasn't so certain, but I am actually certain that that's not a position that Kamala Harris is holding, or has held, even. I can't hear you when you swipe out of the app, just letting you know.
All right, just hold on 1 second, please.
For sure, for sure. Alrighty, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get it out to more people. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for the popcorn. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And Jill with the $50 on PayPal. Put some W's for Jill in the comment section right now for the $50 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Jill. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Hope you're having a great day so far. W's for Jill in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. So kind of you. So kind of you. Fox News is live blaming the Democrats. What are they blaming the Democrats for? That's funny. And it's crazy. And actually, what's new? What's new? Fox News is always blaming Dems. What's now? It's like, seriously, what's new? Yo, what's up, Howdy? Or sorry, that was muscle memory.
Okay,
Did you find what you're looking for?
Yes, I did. So, I mean, I just clicked on the top one. Like, it's called theguardian.com. And it talks about the Biden administration, like, going back on to the ban, well, like, not banning it, like, overturning it for the affirming care of minors.
That's radically different than surgery.
Yeah, I know. I think that I might have, like, read it wrong. But either way,
That's
I
fine.
mean, yeah, I mean, but like I said, there's a few things like abortion.
Can I ask you about that then? Like, I mean, do you have an issue with children getting access to puberty blockers?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Okay.
I mean, you hear a lot of people regretting that at the time because, you know, I mean, it does happen where like 16-year-olds, you know, and then they later on they change their mind and they're like, man, I wish I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for like if like I'm just gonna be straight up like the older generation of like gays and lesbians like that's completely different than what has came to this generation. I mean, I don't know if you're going to admit that, but it's completely different. You know what I mean? Like, you do what you want to do, but don't ask me to, like, you know, call you what I see. Like, what I see, if you're a man, I see that, and I'll call you a man, like, you know, like pronouns, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. Like, I'm not even...
You don't care to be respectful to people?
I mean, I'm not. I like. It's just like no. I'm just
like if I think someone looks like a different name than they specifically told me, do I have the right to call them that name that I feel like they look like?
I mean, that's your opinion, though.
Well, that's what your opinion is. I'm just asking you: is that some level of respect that you would think is okay?
I mean, if they're like a respectful person, that's different.
No, without knowing who they are, right? Like just by looking at them.
Like, how about this? Like, I'll give you a prime example. Okay, I went to go get Subway. Okay.
Could I actually respond specifically to what I'm saying without hearing a random story first?
No, it's not a random story. Like, I'm being general honest with you. Okay. There was a transgender, and he was working. Person. Yeah, but he went by he, even though he was like a female. But either way, like, I addressed him like I would any person on the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm getting food, and sometimes like I do say like sometimes like, hey guys, or something like that. Like, I mean, but sometimes like if they take it sensitive, like that's just the way I speak. And a lot of people speak like that, like, hey guys, like, let's go do this. And you know what I mean? But I just don't understand the sensitivity with all of it nowadays. Like, I'm a female. And if somebody was like, you know, like, you sound like a man, like, yeah, okay, like I would take it sensitively, but that's their opinion. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they're like, I may sound over the phone or whatever.
That would be disrespectful, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, but to me, I'm just like, but that's how it may sound. You know what I mean? Like, if it, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's just how I look at it. Like, I don't understand the whole sensitive part.
You just said that you did. You just said that you would be sensitive as well in that circumstance.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying I wouldn't like be sensitive, like because that's how
you wouldn't think that's disrespectful.
Probably not, honestly, because I know like I have like a deeper voice, and that's just like how I sound. Like, and I'm not like, you know what I mean, taking like hormones to sound like that. That's
genuinely,
just how
to be honest with you, if anyone said that to you, I would think that's really disrespectful and fucked up. Like, genuinely, as a person, like, I think that's crazy. Like, if someone were to say that to you, okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, like, so I believe that we should be respectful to those like around us.
Yeah, and I do too. I completely agree. But I also look at
Are you Christian?
No, I'm not. Actually,
Okay.
I my grandpa, he was a preacher, and he's always preached to me, but I don't know how to take that, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm not Christian either. I was just asking because like, you know, Christians believe in love thy neighbor, but I mean, like, generally you want to be respectful to those around you, correct? Like, and if you would ask for people to be respectful to you, I mean, I would assume that like we should probably do that to people around us as well. And in no way is it harming you specifically just to be respectful to them, right? Also, like, I mean, generally, like, I want to talk about the puberty blockers thing real quick. Do you think that children who are not trans should be able to get access to puberty blockers?
Like, are you saying like if they have like a medical issue?
Yeah.
I mean, no, not really. Like, I don't. I mean, personally, like I said.
So if a doctor determines that they need it for their medical health, you'd be like, nope, they shouldn't be able to get access to it.
Yeah, because it's the same situation with me. They told me, because I have endometriosis, they told me, well, you need to take birth control. It will help. And I'm like, no, I'm not, because
that's a different thing. Birth control is different than hormone
Well,
blockers.
It has hormones in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying it has hormones in it.
Puberty blockers are different, though. Like, you can't just say that everything that has hormones in it is the same.
Okay, well, I was mostly talking about the surgery. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't really talking about because I don't know much
took Accutane when I was 16 years old. Is that okay? Was that wrong?
I honestly don't know what that is. I was talking
It's
about
for my acne. It affects my hormones. And I went through my dermatologist and a doctor alongside my parents.
Okay.
And then together we came to a determination that it would be helpful for my health.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but I personally, like, I don't agree with a lot of like the birth controls and stuff like that, but that's my opinion because I know what it's done to my body or people that I know. And as far as what I was
birth
talking
control
about,
is like actually different, like it genuinely is. If you want to say like something with birth control, like you think that they are over giving out birth control. I'm sure there are plenty of circumstances where that's the case. I'm not disputing you there. When it comes to birth control, I think that is true. But the issue when it comes to this is that's not the same thing as it is for the context of puberty blockers. It's a lot harder to get puberty blockers, to be totally honest with you. And it takes a lot longer to be able to get access to puberty blockers. And for children who are in these circumstances, it's with them, their parents, and their doctor.
Yeah, but like I said, I was mostly talking about the surgery part, because that's where I was talking about where you see the most regret with people, because you can't go back and fix that, you know what I mean, like at all.
No one's saying children should be able to get surgeries like that.
And
no one's claiming that. Also, like the regret rate is extraordinarily low, actually. Like it's actually like an anomaly on how low the regret rate is for gender affirming care.
Yeah, it still happens. So I mean, like, you know what I mean?
But like knee surgery, it's significantly more prevalent. Not even close.
Yeah, and like when I'm talking to you, I've just been trying to come up with a reason in my head. I mean, truthfully, like I said, I wanted to come on here and just kind of talk to you a little bit, because I've seen like the changes of how you talk to people over the years. I'm just being honest, and so I did kind of want to talk to you. And honestly, I really wanted to discuss what Trump is doing and kind of talk about that, because I did vote for him. And like I said, I was more for like the immigration. And I mean, truthfully, I was more thinking about, because I have kids, I'm all for, like, I homeschool my kids. And he was talking about, you know, making it easier for people that homeschool. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you got me right there, because that would be so beneficial for me to do. And none of that has been kind of taking place, you know what I mean? And it's kind of frustrating. And I know that I'm from Ohio, so JD Vance, like he's like, I think he's a great man, and especially what he was doing with Charlie Kirk. I think like he was great, and I feel like that's somebody that we need, that's actually can be like, you know, sympathize with people that are in like the middle class or the lower class, you know what I mean?
In what way?
Like how he grew up, you know, and he was also in the military, and he's like a family man. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, we don't know what his policies would be.
So should we be respectful to him and call him by JD Vance rather than calling him by his original name that he was assigned at birth?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't read his book, but I really want to. I don't know everything about him, but yeah, I get where you're about to go with that. And like I said, I do understand where you're coming from with that. Like, I'm just telling you how I am as a person. I accidentally might slip up because I don't, like, that's how I don't use, like, the right pronouns when I talk to people, because like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if
it's an accident, I don't think people are going to get mad at you. Like, genuinely,
I agree.
If you accidentally do something, no one's going to get mad at you. The issue that people have is when people intentionally be disrespectful. Like, if someone does it as an accident, like, people are very, very kind with that, right? Like, you know, everyone makes mistakes, everyone has accidents, right? Like, that makes sense. But it's about people intentionally doing it.
Yeah, and I honestly, I would not intentionally do that. Like, I know there's people out there that do that, like, and they're super disrespectful, and I would not do that. I was just trying to come up here and kind of get your thoughts on what's going on, like, you know. And when you start asking me like questions, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just being honest with you, like, and I'm not gonna act like I'm so intelligent, you know. Like, I do, like, if there's something I don't know, I research it, because I mean, you don't learn about politics in school, like, you know, in high school at least. And so I mean, honestly, like, I've learned a lot from doing research, and sometimes I don't do research when I think I should. And I'm just being honest. So,
sure. Yeah. So I guess it'd be here. It's like, what policies do you like of Vance and Trump?
Like I already said, like, the policies that he said he was going to do, and he has not done it yet. So that's, like I said, that's been a little frustrating. But
maybe
I mean, it
policies that he has done. We could start with that, maybe.
I mean, honestly, what he has been doing, like, I mean, for example, like, putting the National Guard in Chicago. I mean, I think that, I mean, what he's doing is actually, that is a good thing. And I think that a lot of even Democrats kind of agree with it, besides, you know, who is it, the mayor or something? I forget who it was. The governor, I think. Well, he didn't agree with it, but I mean, I think it's a good thing. People in Chicago are actually very thankful for what's going on, and I think that like our border is actually, going somewhere now. Because you look at like other countries, like, and I will say, like, I am all for the freedom that we have here. Like, you look at Finland, and they are like, they have the pretty much the same like freedom that we have, besides when it comes to like gun rights, and like certain things. Like they're more lenient on drinking and stuff, which is kind of crazy. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm all over the place with how I feel. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I look at it like, you put a vote for somebody and it could be the opposite, right? You could have voted for Kamala and she could have became president, and say it could have went the same way. Like, she's taking her time doing these things that she promised, and people are getting frustrated, And I'm not saying like I fully regret my vote, because we don't know. I mean, it's only almost a year now. And so I don't know. Like I said, I was more for like the homeschooling, the immigration, and just keeping the rights that we have, like freedom of speech and stuff. Because I mean, you can see firsthand that it was starting to get a little crazy with the Biden administration, they wanted to just like keep us quiet when it came to stuff that was going on.
Such as?
Like, for example, okay, I don't know. God damn. Now I'm just losing my train of thought. You can call me stupid or what, but I'm just like,
It's no problem. So I would say that actually the Biden administration didn't actually go after free speech at all. I think the Trump administration has. He's passed an executive order to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag, which has been determined by the Supreme Court to be protected by the First Amendment. There have also been federal courts and district courts specifically that have determined that Donald Trump has been violating people's due process rights, constitutionally protected rights, in terms of the deportation process. So it like literally utilizing no due process, right? Which is definitely an issue and is granted by the 5th and 14th Amendment. And then also in terms of the National Guard, if his goal was specifically to address crime in cities, then he would have originally sent them first to red states where there was no issue with sending the National Guard to, because really the issue is that unless there's like an insurrection or a rebellion, they can't send the National Guard to like areas in which the governor has not consented to that. So, like, if the governor hasn't consented, Democrats aren't going to consent to that, right? Then send them to red states. Go to Missouri and go to St. Louis and go to Tennessee, go to Memphis and go to Texas and go to Houston and Austin and Dallas and all those different cities, right? Those are in red states. You can actually address the crime that exists in those states that oftentimes is a lot more than the crime that we see in New York, for example, or in Los Angeles. Right. Like, for example, St. Louis is a greater murder rate than Chicago. And yet people on the right have been specifically talking about Chicago. They try to say it's like the #1 city of murder rate, but it's actually not. Right.
Yeah,
now you could say biggest cities, but I mean, I consider St. Louis a big city, and St. Louis is more dangerous. And that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you on that. I mean, I was looking at it like, he's going, I think, like at least how he's talking about it, I would think that he's going to go to Chicago and maybe do exactly what you're saying. And I think that's the right thing. I mean, I think that I think that crime does need to go down in the U.S. And as far as what you said about like the whole like burning the flag, I mean, I think personally, like, that's disrespectful. But if we're like a free, country, then I mean, everybody should have their freedom. But you also, and this, I know exactly what you're going to say when I say this, but you look at other countries and you burn a flag, I mean, you can, what can happen at other countries. I don't want to say it because I don't know like what the restrictions are, but and that does kind of lead with dictatorship. I mean, you agree with that, don't you?
Repeat that. Sorry, what goes with dictatorship?
Like how burning the flag, and how he wants to send people to prison, like jail, prison, whatever. That does kind of go with dictatorship. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that in a dictator-run country and, be okay. Like, it's not, in other countries, you don't go to jail for doing something like that. I mean, you know what I mean? It happens. Like, so that kind of sounds like, I don't know. And I don't like how close he's getting with, Putin. I'm just being honest. That kind of like.
It sounds like you don't really like Trump, to be totally honest.
I kind of like, honestly, I'm getting to the point that I don't like. And like I said, that's why I wanted to come up here, because I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't like what he promised people. And I think a lot of people are seeing that. I mean, you're on here, and I bet you hear a lot from people who voted for him. Like, this isn't what we expected at all.
Yeah, I think he lied. I think he was saying a lot of things for votes that he wasn't actually going to do. He said he was going to end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. That was clearly ridiculous. He said he was going to lower grocery prices and gas prices. That was clearly ridiculous. I mean, those are just a few things, right?
Yeah, and a lot of
100%
people,
lies.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I homeschool my kids, and my husband, he works. I don't work, but he makes good money. He's in the union. And so it's frustrating because, like, I know that originally the Democrats were they're more for the union workers, and so they were saying like they want to do, like JD Vance was pushing it to Trump, like they wanted to do more for the union workers, and I'm like, okay, like maybe this is a good thing, you know. And so far we haven't seen nothing with that. I mean, besides he gets overtime a few times a month, you know what I mean, and there's no tax on it, but either way we're getting taxes out somewhere. I mean,
so
you know what I mean?
The no tax on overtime is just a deduction from your taxable income. So you don't get no tax on overtime as a whole. It's just a deduction from your taxable income.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I knew, like, with that, I didn't really care about that, because I'm like, either way, we're getting taxed on everything. Like, when we go to the grocery store at the end of the year, you know what I mean? And so, like, I will say, like, there was a few things like Kamala would, you know, say that I was like, man, like, you know, that would be so helpful, because we've been working so hard to buy our first home, and it's hard, you know, to say, like, because the interest rates are still super high, and so we could have had that opportunity and stuff. So I kind of do, like I said, I kind of do regret it. But like,
so there's a few things I could say that would be helpful for you that Kamala Harris is advocating for. One, right, she would have imposed tariffs, meaning that we would have been able to bring down interest rates to a greater extent because of the fact that there was less upward pressure on prices, because tariffs put upward pressure on prices. Secondly, she advocated for a $6,000 child tax credit for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, $3,000 through them being 18. And you said you had children, so that will very much be a benefit for you. Alongside the fact that, like, she was also advocating for $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers for new homes. So that would be extremely beneficial for you trying to buy a new house. Yeah,
I mean, I agree. And like, I will say this, like, one other thing that I do have to say about, and I'm not even going to say it's mostly, everybody says like the right is filled, like we're Nazis, we're bigots, because I'm not going to lie, obviously I'm reading these comments, and it's crazy because you have to admit, like, there's so much hate on both sides, and I'm not a bad person for voting for what I thought was best at the moment. Okay, I'm not a terrible person. I'm a great mom. And I do everything I can for my family. And I'm not gonna lie, this was my first year voting. Like I said, I'm 22, and I was just looking at what I thought would be right, since I do homeschool and stuff. And I thought, because you take away, like, you know, all the immigrants coming to the country and stuff, it does. I mean, for one, it's safer, and it saves, like, it actually saves us money. And I do think, yes, we should have, you know, workers that are legal, and it's not just about what race they are. I mean, like I said, my husband works in the union. I've met his friends. They're great people. I've never had anything against anybody that is different than me at all. And so, like, when I read these comments, like, calling me a bigot, I'm like, I'm not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody does what they think is right, but you cannot hate on somebody else. Like, you should want everybody to feel loved. That's what people preach, especially on the left. And I'm not saying, you know, I feel like, truthfully, I'm in between. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel, because how I grew up. And I'm not saying like I grew up country, because that's what people think, you know, and I'm just saying, like, anybody who thinks like, oh, that she's a Republican or they're a Republican, oh, they're some hillbillies or whatever. I'm not. I mean, I live in a city. I'm not at all like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to prove a point. Like, you cannot preach, okay, be great to your neighbor, but then you're hating on them for whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm trying to say, because I mean, yeah, like people are like drop and da da da, like whatever, like like that's one thing I can't say, and like just all the hate, that's crazy.
Yeah, so there's a few things here. One, removing immigrants from the country doesn't make us safer. Actually, immigrants, legal or undocumented, have a they're a lower likelihood of committing crime, violent crime, drug crime, property crime, comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens. Plus, it would actually cost us more money to deport them rather than keep them in the country, where they would be able to legally get a pathway to citizenship, and they would pay more into the tax system, meaning that we would actually get more money in the long run, specifically through tax revenue. Right, so they'd actually benefit us, and then also like you could say that your intention wasn't bad, of course, right? But like, I mean, generally, like we would argue that like the vote for Donald Trump was a bad thing, right? That's why we're coming up on here and we're having these conversations, is because we're trying to get people to realize that the voting for Donald Trump has harmed so many people, right? For example, the Big Beautiful Bill cuts 420,000 children off of free school lunch and breakfast on average every single month. That means 420,000 kids on average every month will be hungrier in the context of school, right? 2.5 million people are cut off their food stamps on average every single month. Over 10 million people cut off their health insurance. Alongside, it adds $3.4 trillion to the debt. That's just one example of one policy that specifically has had extraordinarily large negative impacts on our population. And that's just one thing. I can mention plenty of others in terms of the disparate impacts that Donald Trump's policies have had. Like, for example, implementing racial profiling within the context of ICE, right? Where specifically they're using that as a valid justification to like literally detain and arrest people. Now they're not utilizing due process rights. They're violating people's constitutionally protected rights, such as the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the 14th Amendment, and also talking about undermining the 22nd Amendment as well. So I can point to plenty of different examples where Donald Trump has undermined core fundamental values of this country. He's also incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol. He's pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers, and he called them patriots, right? That disunifies our country. That incites violence, right? And that's literally a threat to our democratic processes. So like we could say that like a lot of people didn't have like an intention to vote for things that are bad, or maybe they didn't even know about this when they were voting for Donald Trump. But the inevitable reality is that they did vote for someone who was bad.
Yeah, and like I said, I agree with you, and I'm not saying like I'm uneducated, but I will say like when it comes to like as far as like the January 6th incident, I mean, people bring this up a lot, and I will say, like, me personally, I look at it like, what about when all the riots were going down? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there was riots in Columbus, there was riots in Tennessee. I mean, there was riots everywhere that were people, and it wasn't peaceful. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? And as far as January 6th, from what my knowledge is, because I did, like, I don't know if you've seen the video. They were literally let in. The people were let in, and I don't think that anybody should be harmed at all. If you want to protest. Like, I mean, that's our right. You know what I mean? But I don't think there should be any violence, whether it's, hitting somebody or throwing something or lighting fires on cars and stuff, because that has happened. And so I feel like everybody it shouldn't be pointed at either, you know what I mean? Like, because, I mean, truthfully, for example, like, with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, you have to admit there was nothing bad that happened afterwards. I mean, like, there was vigils and stuff, which I didn't go to it because I didn't know like if anything bad would happen, and I'm just being honest. But I think that stuff like that, like, for example, what happened to him, that's terrible. That stuff shouldn't happen. Rather, it's the Democrat. What state was that in? Missouri, right? That they got killed in their own home.
There's a few things I wanted to address real quick. So in terms of like being let into the Capitol, there were multiple break-in points. Like, they utilized a riot shield to literally break into the window on January 6th. It wasn't that they were let in, right? Like, some of the narratives about that they were just let in is just totally false. We can see, based upon timestamps, that they were breaking in with riot shields. That's the original way that they got in. Secondly, in terms of January 6th, the unique point about that is not true about Democrats is that Donald Trump pardoned the violence. He condoned it. So he not only did he say fight like hell and take back the country from those that stole it from you, but he also pardoned the people who committed violence on that day, telling us that he condoned that violence. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when it comes to, I don't agree with violence at all. But I mean, from the video, they were letting them in. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, from the video that I watched, they were pretty much let through the front door. And I mean, from what the video shows, they walked around and stuff. And you did see violence that day. You did see people climbing up on the video.
That was all after they broke in, by the way.
Okay. See, I didn't know that, but see, that's what I'm saying. People are misguided, rather, like I said, with certain situations, and
like by let in, like the doors were open. That's because people broke in through the windows with a riot shield, and then they opened the doors. I can't hear you while you're swiped out of the app, by the way, just letting you know. Alrighty, give it a second. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It will help get it out to more people. Tiffany, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $1. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you so much. We have some W's for Tiffany in the comment section right now. I think they just left, everyone. I'm going to say thank you to a few people on YouTube real quick. And then we're going to go on to and continue the debates, everybody. Dude, just give it a second. By the way, this is my last day here in New York. So tomorrow I should be back at my normal setup, just letting everyone know. So it should be significantly better quality tomorrow. I do apologize, everyone. I do apologize for the quality. I mean, it's a little bit better today than what it was that one day. Like the first day I got here. That was a bit unfortunate. Gianni, thank you so much for the £6. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Or €6. I apologize. Thank you so much. Feisty, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you. JP, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it as well. Thank you. Serendipity, thank you so much for the $2. I am on vacation. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the $2. Martin, thank you so much for the $3 or €3. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Barbara, thank you so much for the $2. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Alrighty, everybody. I'm caught up so far on YouTube. Thank you for the Galaxy. I appreciate a little more heart. Thank you. Let's go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. Ruby, thank you so much for the Galaxy. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, thank you. Let me turn on the multi-guest. We're going to go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old
I'm
are you?
21. What's up, Parker?
Yeah, do you support Donald Trump?
21. Yeah.
What's your birth year?
2004, February 27th.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
You'd rather vote for Donald Trump? Okay, why so?
Yep.
Why?
He's a man. A big, strong man.
Are you trolling?
This Chick-fil-A is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely trolling. Let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen.
25.
Do you support Donald Trump?
2.
What's your birth year?
1999.
What month?
December.
For sure. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who'd you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
And why is that?
I think that first of all, clear policy differences between the two candidates would be the reason why. Number one, I don't think that Kamala would have handled the border properly. I don't think she would have handled the Russian-Ukraine war that well. I don't think she would have handled Israel-Gaza that well, so on and so forth. Secondly, as a conservative, as a Republican, I appreciate what Donald Trump has done to bring conservative culture back into the mainstay. And so I think that generally the country is in a better social climate with Donald Trump in office. Biden nationalism, I would say more traditional family units. I would say adherence to Christian values, common sense. Yeah, mostly those things.
So you brought up things you agreed with, not things you disagreed with, but we can point to those real quick. Do you think it's common sense to say the climate's going to start cooling and science just doesn't know it yet? Do you think that's common sense?
I think that topic is a little less clear in its certainty.
Really? Because, I mean, there's a scientific consensus.
Yeah, consensus is uncertainty, so I think that proves my point.
Oh, okay. Well, no, most things aren't certain. You're not certain about any facts outside of your
Right.
existence, correct? So, like, that's a stupid point to bring up.
No, there are things that I am certain about.
Really? Tell me, are you certain about my existence?
Yes.
Really? Is it possible that
Yeah.
I don't actually exist and that I'm a fake AI, Parker? Is that logically possible?
No.
That's just false. It is logically possible. Okay.
Under
so in
what
the
logic
sense
would
that
that
you
make
use
any
certainty, in the sense that you use certainty, right? It is the case that it's logically possible that I'm not a real person, that I'm just like some figment of an experience that you're experiencing, right? This is your dream. You're dreaming right now, bro. It's possible. It's logically possible, right?
No, I actually don't understand that at all. How is that possible?
Yeah, the reason why it's logically possible from your perspective is because it could have been the case that this is true and that you're only experiencing this because, say, for example,
Are
what's
you
considered
denying my
Listen.
experience?
It's called solipsism. You need to listen real quick. So it's because of the fact that you could just be a brain in a vat that is being fed experiences into it. That's logically possible that that's the case. Some Matrix type shit, okay? And I'm not saying this is the case. I'm not saying this is most likely the case.
I will say too.
What
like,
I'm telling you, can
my
you please
understanding
listen?
of that-
I'm trying to explain this to you, man.
Sorry.
Okay. So it's logically possible, right? So you aren't certain about my existence within that respect because I could just be a figment of your imagination because you're a brain in a vat. Now, this is not something I think is the case. It's not something I think is probable. But if you're using the connotation of certainty, well, you're not necessarily certain about that. So the idea of you having to be certain about things is obviously a ridiculous assertion.
On the cross and was resurrected. So, you know,
There's not evidence that he rose from the dead. There is evidence he was crucified, but not that he rose from the dead.
Well, again, I know we disagree on that kind of point that the Bible is.
Tell me what is the evidence?
Truth. I just said the Bible is a historic document that proves it. So,
So the Bible, the New Testament, passed down word of mouth for generations prior to being written down, is a sufficient of enough standard.
how many stories of your grandparents
I have a question. Do you believe
that
Eugene
were
Carroll?
told by their mouth?
Do you believe Eugene
Sorry?
Carroll?
I mean, I think it's probably a little more of a gray area. Not so much.
So you don't
One's
take a
right or one's the other.
first-person account? Do you have a single first-person account that indicates that Jesus rose from the dead?
Yes.
Okay. What's the first-person account? Name the person.
Sure. Let me pull up the Bible verse for you.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John aren't first-person accounts, by the way.
I think those books were written by those people, right?
One, we don't know that. All right. And two, they were passed on word of mouth before being written down.
Okay. Maybe. But who's to say that those words aren't what they said?
Oh, wait. We just don't have good reason to believe that. So you don't have a first-person account.
Well,
Okay, if you don't have a first-person
so
account,
perhaps
explain to me how you have. So you think you have better reason to believe Jesus rose from the dead and walked on water than to believe Eugene Carroll was sexually assaulted by Donald Trump, even though she held him liable in a civil court amongst a unanimous decision of 9 people, and there's a first-person account of it happening?
Yeah, I guess yes. I generally do trust the word of God over Eugene Carroll. Yeah.
Eugene Carroll. And
Sorry.
again, you're assuming this is the word of God. You made this assumption because you're assuming that he rose from the dead. The basis of him being God from your perspective is that he rose from the dead, but the evidence of that is specifically in the Bible, which doesn't actually have evidence. There's no first person accounts.
Well, I'm not denying that.
These are stories
faith-
passed on, again, word of mouth.
Yeah, no, I mean, in the sense of I obviously didn't see it happen. There's no quote video evidence of it happening. But I mean, me using the Bible as a historical source is not no documentation. So to act like there's no basis in fact,
I said no first person account.
But again, I deny that there's no first person account. The Bible is
Really? What's the first person
of
account? Tell me.
Christ's life. The Bible is literally a first person account of the disciples' interaction with Christ.
No, it's not. No, it's
It
not.
is.
These were stories passed down word of mouth. Did you even read your own text? Did you even look into the documentation being passed down? You didn't even do research on your own book?
I'm telling you, it's true. Your understanding is inaccurate.
Dude,
yes, it
no,
is.
you're not right. Please look up your own.
Right.
I know you're not.
I am right. Paul.
Look it up. I'm seriously, look it up.
The Gospels are literally first-hand accounts of Paul's experience
No.
with Christ. Yes, it is, dude.
No,
what?
they're not first-person accounts because they were passed down word of mouth before they were written down. We don't know if they actually wrote the books.
You can choose to not believe the historical evidence. That's fine. So because
When were the New Testament scriptures written?
after, I really have no idea the timeline. I know that it's kind of like early, after obviously like AD, like 0 to like the 200s, like in that kind of general area.
At least 1 to 2 generations after Jesus died. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
look, okay, so
if it's at least 1 to 2 generations after Jesus died, that means
mix.
it's not a first person account.
But Bible contains a mix of first-hand accounts and second or third-hand sources. So it's not all or nothing either side.
So now it's second-hand accounts. So no first-hand accounts? He left. So by the way, right there, he believes there's sufficient evidence to indicate Jesus rose from the dead based upon no first-person accounts, but the first-person account from E. Jean Carroll he doesn't believe. So that to me is crazy. It's like he could have just conceded that he believes without evidence. Like without sufficient evidence. Alrighty, let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Okay, so for a very long time, I have not been.
I'm sorry, it sounds like they were driving. So I'm going to go on to the next person. I don't know. What was that last person's name? I think they might have accidentally left. Because I think maybe I saw a comment saying that like they didn't mean to leave or something, but I couldn't invite them up. So maybe it was just like a troll saying that in the comment section. Robert, I do not see you in the guest box. If you are in the guest box, or you can hop back in the guest box if you accidentally left. But yeah, all right, let's go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
40.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
What's your birth year?
1986.
What month?
January.
Wouldn't you be 41?
No.
Or no, you'd be what's it called? 39. Sorry.
I turn 40 in a couple months, so I usually just tell people 40.
Okay. All right. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I ride his dick.
Okay. I could have guessed that they were trolling. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. I see Robert's back.
All right, sorry about that.
You're good. You're good.
They need to change the microphone location because when you like go to hit it and you accidentally swipe up the live, it takes me to a new one. That was really annoying.
I've done that before while co-hosting on Dean's stream, so don't worry.
If I can, I just want to address a point that I did see in the comments. Like, I am not trying to say that faith does not involve blind trust in maybe unordinary and unexplainable things. So I just want to make that point clear. But I also think that there is historical evidence to prove that my faith is true.
I don't think that's true at all.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that.
Now, there's not sufficient evidence, maybe you could say. Like, if you consider it evidence, well, then there's... Okay, all right. But, like, there's less evidence to indicate that than E. Jean Carroll was sexually assaulted, yet you don't believe E. Jean Carroll was sexually assaulted. Why?
I didn't say that either. I didn't say that. I said there's...
So you do believe she was sexually assaulted, yet you still support Trump?
No, I didn't say that either. I said it's a gray area. I'm
So which do you
sure
say?
there's some truth to it. Oh.
It's one or the other.
I guess that's probably... I mean, that is true in some sense. I honestly, I don't know. I didn't listen to any testimony. I truthfully don't know. I wouldn't put it past the president. How about that? Is that what you want to hear?
If you wouldn't put it past him, why do you support him?
I think that his policies are still better than what the Democrats support. And
so you're willing to vote for someone who is a rapist, right? Because it is the case that you agree with his
assault
policies?
is not that. So let's...
Forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will isn't rape?
That is, but I don't think that's what
exactly
Donald
what
Trump is
happened.
being accused of.
No, that's exactly what he was. Not only what he was accused of, but he was held liable for.
Okay, well, like I said, I didn't pay attention to that. Oh, sure. Then I hate to say it, but literally, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't really see Donald Trump as like a moral exemplar or some sort of like person to follow. But I mean, in the sense of who's going to govern the country better and who's going to put America in a position to succeed and the West to succeed, I mean, it's clearly not going to be the priorities and the goals of the Democrat Party.
Okay, so to clarify,
partisan opinion.
So to clarify, if he was held civilly liable of sexually abusing a child, would you still vote for him because you like his policies?
No, but again, I kind of question the authenticity of those claims because, I mean, if he was a quote unquote actual, I mean, rapist in the sense of it was clear and obvious, then I think society would judge him appropriately for that. And I think that your characterization of his trial may not be
saying society would judge them correctly is not a reason why he's not responsible for this. You believe we're all sinners. You believe we oftentimes do not have the judgment of Christ. So if we oftentimes do not have the judgment of Christ, how could your determination of whether or not they are like someone you should vote for be dependent upon society? Because he was held liable, and this is the response that people have had. They voted him into the position of president.
I mean, I fundamentally agree with that point, but in the sense of like governing a nation state, I mean, social acceptance of norms is kind of what allows that state to exist. So I think public opinion is maybe a pretty significant determiner of whether or not someone's qualified.
I'm asking you real quick. You said if the victim were a child, you wouldn't support him, but given that the victim's an adult, you would support him. What's the relevant difference between a child and adult?
Yeah,
that means that you would support someone who assaulted one but not the other.
I think it's less on that and more about, I don't know, the kind of context surrounding Trump. And to me, it's pretty clear that he's targeted and a lot of people are trying to like get him and, you know, because he is president and like, that's fine. And again, I'm not saying that
if the victim were a child, that same thing would be true, right? Under your view?
Well, I think society would react quite a bit differently, right? If he...
Oh, so they just don't care about women that are assaulted? They care more when children are assaulted?
I mean, that could be an uncomfortable admission, but perhaps, yeah, people are like, a little less tolerant.
If that's the standard, then and it's uncomfortable for you to admit, why would you want to hold that position just because people in society view it that way? Most people in society, do they view premarital sex to be wrong?
I don't know. Probably not.
No, right? So, but that's wrong under your perspective, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then, like, obviously you don't go based on public opinion.
Right. No, I agree. And I don't know. It's one of those things where when you're presented with two choices in a sense, like, you know, how much freedom do you actually have? And so, yeah, I mean, I would never vote for Donald Trump, like, preferred to the Republican that I would rather vote for. He's not number one. But again, if you're asking me, like, who do I think is going to set up the country on a better path and a better future, I definitely think it's Donald Trump over Kamala. And I will say this too, I think Donald Trump has some pretty good presidential instincts, regardless of his moral
policies
shortcomings. Yeah, like I said, really his foreign policy and border policy are the two that I can, frankly, only support. I'm not a huge fan of the tariffs.
I'll literally, like, give me 15 seconds. Literally 15
You're good.
seconds. I just need to grab this real quick, 1 sec. Sorry, I'm back. Give me 1 sec. Let me sit down. All right, go for it. What was the, you said border and what else?
Foreign policy. Like specifically the way that he has gotten NATO countries to up their defense spending, the way that he's handled the Israel-Palestine, Iran situation, and I don't know, I'm less convinced of his Russian-Ukraine tactics, but I think that there is some good signals that are coming out in the sense of he's a little bit more provocative toward Russia. And obviously I don't know if you saw the oil sanctions that he passed against those 5 major Russian petroleum producers too. Like, I think
you said he's more provocative against Russia, yet recently he just went back on his original claim and said that he specifically thinks that Putin is pro-peace.
You know, I can't really explain his thinking. Maybe there is some strategy in his sort of roller coaster approach to foreign policy. The madman theory kind of comes to mind. So I think that the uncertainty of it is sort of a strength in Trump's cap.
That's different than what you just said, though. You just contradicted yourself. Your original point was that he's stronger on Russia. Now it's that he's not necessarily stronger on Russia. It's that he specifically is all over the place.
Well, I think that the actions and the rhetoric tell different stories. He's obviously taking strong action with the sanctions, for instance, and the shipping of tomahawks, for instance. But the smoke,
We had
the
sanctions,
talk,
and he literally defunded Ukraine for a while.
yeah, for a while. That's an important qualifier. And so, again, with these kind of provocative actions that he's taking and counteracting with the lighter rhetoric, I think prove and show a shift toward a more confrontational position with Russia in this war.
Nope. Him saying that he thinks Russia and Putin is pro-peace is definitely not being antithetical to Russia. Secondly, in terms of funding NATO, there was actually a greater increase in NATO spending under Biden. Did you know that? Like amongst the European nations?
I did actually, yeah. That's great.
Okay. And then also like some of the other things you brought up in terms of you just brought up like he's better at dealing with like conflict and war. So, I mean, I think that there's a few issues here. How do you feel about the fact that he's bombed like boats of fishermen off of the coast of Venezuela, claiming that they're drug boats when they provided no evidence to Congress that they had drugs at all?
I think that changing the way that we think about narco-terrorists is going to be beneficial to stopping the drug problem in this country. And the fishermen that you're referencing, I believe, had a 10-year rap sheet with the cartel, too. So I wouldn't be so quick to be apologetic for these people that are being targeted.
Oh, did you find any evidence of that? What was the evidence that they gave to Congress of that?
There is a CNN report that literally interviewed the wife of the fisherman. So that's what I saw.
Okay, what's the title of that?
Yeah, I saw it on a TikTok. I can...
Yeah, for sure.
Find it
because it was more than just one boat, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but also, there's only one person who's claiming to be a fisherman, I think.
Also, okay, well then that's definitely an issue. Secondly, and by the way, they can't claim because they're dead. So I don't know what you're talking about.
It was his wife. Okay, like I said, that was him being interviewed.
So you're just talking about one particular source. If they talk to one person, that's not necessarily them talking to other people. But let me at least address this. One, there's no evidence they had drugs on the boat. Secondly, let's say they did. Right? That still doesn't mean you murder them over international waters. You wait till they get to U.S. waters, and then you detain them.
I think that, so that was the first point I was making, is that we need to fundamentally change the way that we view these narcotic organizations. They're not your everyday drug dealer that you encounter on the street in America. These are terrorist organizations, and they need to be treated as such. So I think that our ability to verify a fishing boat versus a narcotics boat as well is quite ample, and so I'm not really worried about targeting.
There was no evidence indicating it was a drug boat, by the way.
I mean, I think if you look at some of the satellite images of the boat, you can clearly tell.
Oh, really? What indicates that to you?
Really? Because
none of the evidence showed that.
I've seen photos of these boats with like these blue barrels that you like see in Breaking Bad, essentially filled with narcotics. So,
nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Literally, that's not a thing.
Okay, that's okay. We'll have to agree to disagree. I mean, I know what I saw. I don't know what to tell you.
We're not going to agree to disagree because they would have given this evidence to Congress. There was no evidence given to Congress that there were specifically drugs on that boat. Absolutely none. Okay? They're just claiming it.
Okay. If you say so.
Yeah, go ahead. Provide me these sources. I'd love to see these.
I just said it's a picture. That's it.
Then tell me where I can find this picture. I'll pull it up right now and show the chat.
Okay. Give me a second.
Go ahead.
All right.
In the meantime, let me thank some people real quick. Let me go over to YouTube and thank some people over there real quick. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. We're about an hour into the stream, meaning we have about another 2 hours and 20 minutes left on the stream. I'm going to go 3 hours and 30 minutes today, just letting everyone know. Coffee, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $2. Thank you. Budget Cardboard, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, I am. The background call you have got. Yes, I'm in New York right now. I'm going to be back to my normal setup tomorrow. Mary, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Mary, thank you so much. Alexandra, thank you so much. I really appreciate the €10. Thank you. Martin with the €2. Thank you. Rocky, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Allison, thank you for the $2. Gaia, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $1.50. Thank you. Rabbit, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $50. Thank you so much. For big respect to you. As a Californian resident, Prop 50 is so important to me. Thank you for everything you and Dean do. Absolutely, I agree. I'm voting yes on 50, and everyone who's living in California should do the same as well. Absolutely, yes on 50. That's so important. That guy, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $2. Gianni, thank you for the €6. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Feisty with the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. JP, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I think I'm caught up over on YouTube and over on Venmo and Cash App and PayPal. Let me catch up real quick. Victoria, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I did. We got pizza. Don't worry. Erica, thank you so much for the $4. Thank you so much. Dominic, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Dominic. Sarah, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sarah. Jennifer, thank you so much for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat, or not on YouTube Super Chat, on Venmo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. Tip, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Crazy. Thank you so much. Already, I'm fully caught up. Everyone. Thank you for the head mustache. Thank you.
So I have this picture, but I don't really know how I would present it to you.
Well, you could just tell me where to find it.
Yeah. Okay. It says U.S. destroys alleged Venezuelan drug boat killing 3 BBC. And there's a photo, and you can clearly see there's white containers on the front of the boat, and also the high speed.
What was the title?
U.S. destroys alleged Venezuelan drug boat, killing. Or, I'm sorry, excuse me. I know that's a TikTok bad word. Sorry, but doing 3, whatever.
And from
ending
BBC?
3. Yeah, from BBC. That's right. And then you see a blue line over top, and then you can see this pretty high tech boat here that you would not think a Venezuelan fisherman would be driving. I don't see any nets. I don't see any poles.
Is there any evidence that there's drugs on this boat?
Yeah, specifically drugs, no, but it's pretty clearly some sort of narco vehicle.
How do you know?
Because of the evidence I just explained to you. There's no proof.
One, you said it was blue. It's not blue.
No, it's white.
Two,
I acknowledge that.
You're saying this little white blob is evidence of drugs? On the boat. This is just the boat.
You can't prove that there was drugs on the boat, but I think that the signs
so if you can't
point
prove it, then why do you believe
likelihood
that?
of it.
No?
Because
actually, it says he provided no evidence the boat was carrying drugs. That's what the article that you just cited says.
Okay,
it's on the second. It literally says that right here.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Even if it's true or not, I think the point to me, or the point rather that I'm going to be making, is that vehicle is obviously associated with narco terrorists, right? Is that fair to say? Even if there were no drugs on the boat.
Nope. That's literally what the BBC article said. That there was
no drugs on the boat. They didn't deny
that there was no evidence. That there was no evidence that the boat was carrying drugs.
Right, but they didn't deny its connection to the cartels.
Where did they say that?
That it was a cartel boat? That's why they shot it down.
Yeah, where did they say that it was a cartel boat?
The Trump administration did.
Okay, just the Trump administration claiming it is not evidence of that. What's the evidence?
Well, that's fine. I agree.
What's the evidence of it being a cartel boat?
So that photo that they provide, I think if you look at the ship, you can clearly see that there's no outfittings for fishing. And knowing that those are probably high traffic areas with previous intelligence for narco terrorists, I think that those pieces of evidence can lead you to a reasonable conclusion that is likely a narco terrorist boat that can be targeted.
Look at these boats. These are boats specifically shown under the BBC article that the Venezuela Ministry of Information has shown.
Yeah.
Do these look like drug boats?
Those look like fishing boats. But that doesn't look like the picture I sent.
That looks exactly like the picture.
That boat looks like the photo in the BBC article I talked about?
It's in the BBC article. The one I just showed you was from the BBC article.
The picture you just showed me, that boat was also shot or no?
It says, in a statement, the Venezuela Foreign Ministry alleged that those who ordered the seizure were looking for justify escalating war in the Caribbean. Hold up. Gil said, Here we go. After a brief lull, tensions rose again on Saturday when Venezuelan foreign minister, I actually don't know how to pronounce their name. I think their last name is Gil, accused U.S. forces of boarding a Venezuelan vessel. Wait, that was the vessel that they boarded. I apologize.
The big one. So exactly. So that one looked like a fishing boat, and they didn't blow it up, and they took it. They seized it with force, as opposed to that original one. That's clearly a narco boat, dude. Like, how can you deny that?
It's really not. I'm sorry.
Okay,
it's actually fucking annoying that you're sitting here and saying that because you have no fucking evidence and you're assuming it, and people were murdered because of this. You sick fuck. Listen to what you're talking about. I want to explain this because this actually pisses me off on the inside. I'm being way too fucking nice to you. You dipshit. This is a fucking people that died. People got murdered and you have no fucking evidence of it. There's no jurisdiction for you to fucking do that. This is international waters. Explain to me why you think it's justified to murder people literally without evidence. Because that same thing could fucking happen to you. That actually pisses me off, dude. That you fucking think that's okay. And you fucking think it's justified in your head. Genuinely insane shit. You're Christian? You consider yourself Christian? You consider yourself pro-life?
Yes, I'm Christian.
That's a fucking hypocritical statement.
Perhaps. But
not perhaps.
I don't
it is.
think that there is not evidence to prove
there is no evidence. The article you just cited me said there was no evidence. I'm sorry.
To prove that there were drugs on board.
You were fucking lying. Yes, there was no evidence that there were drugs on board. Wait. So if there was no evidence there were drugs on the boat, then how do you know it was a narco boat? Do you realize that those things are the same?
The high-speed motors on the back, because of the slender nature of the boat, because of the color outfittings used to stay camouflaged
at night, outfittings,
because of the ability to store large quantities of something in that front.
Storing large quantities of things. So boats with the ability, cargo boats. So now we can just bomb cargo boats, Chad. Start bombing cargo boats. They can store so many things.
I mean, look, I know you kind of enjoy like the tit for tat of it, but like you understand that the position you're taking is very like impalatable to most Americans. A lot of people,
it's not. No, it's not.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
A lot of people
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're crazy. You're crazy.
No,
it's not me that's extreme. You're the one that's extreme, advocating for people to be executed and murdered without evidence. I'm sorry. I believe in due process. I believe that people should go in front of a jury. I don't believe that they should be extrajudicially murdered without evidence when we're not even at war.
That's fine, but I think that the considering kind of the framing of the issue itself is needing to change. And like I say, when you think of it as these are terrorists who are trying to kill people the same way that they did in 9/11, for instance, then the response becomes far more.
Do you have any evidence?
Yeah, I do. There is a ton of evidence to suggest that.
What does the article say was evidence of that?
Venezuela is a key contributor to the inflow of narcotics into Europe and into the United States. They are often used as a destination for Chinese manufacturers to off-put the equipment necessary to create the drugs, and then cartels in Mexico and Venezuela produce them in South America and then ship them out to Europe and the United States. So if you're not familiar with the intricacies of the drug trade and the drug crisis in the country, then perhaps maybe you should do a little bit more research on that. But Venezuela is very
90% of drugs brought over by U.S. citizens, right? If you want to defund the cartels, how about you legalize and decriminalize drug usage in the United States so that it isn't the case that they are the ones specifically funding that process and being able to actually make money off of the said process. If you legalize and regulate a lot of these different processes, it would restrict that from happening. Secondly, if you want to talk about them coming into our country, they would have had to get into U.S. waters. Once they get to U.S. waters, couldn't we have just detained them? What limits us from doing that?
I don't disagree with that. We could do that, but I don't think that the use of force.
So if you could have just detained them, what's the point of murdering them?
It's safer to just take them out.
It's safer to murder them without evidence?
Yes.
No, it's not.
For American citizens,
it's not safer to murder them. It is not. No, they would have been prevented from being on.
You think it's safer for a Marine to take over a boat?
Listen. We could have had a drone on them, knowing exactly when they're going to show up on U.S. waters, and we could have detained them at that point. That would have not harmed any U.S. citizens.
I mean, it opens up the possibility for them to resist their detainment. So I don't agree with that point.
How would they resist the detainment from the Coast Guard?
I mean, if they're drug dealers, they probably have like guns and stuff. So you never know.
Was there any evidence that they had guns? And also, isn't that exactly what the national
specifically?
wait? Isn't exactly what like officers, law enforcement are supposed to deal with?
Yeah, but in terms of keeping them safe, I'd rather just not take the chance if we know that they're
So we can just bomb boats because we think maybe it is the case that they had drugs, maybe it is the case that they had guns, when there was no evidence of that.
See, I think the threshold is probably a little higher than that, but essentially,
Wait, there was no. Wait, so then what did you meet? What threshold did you meet?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that when you're like the president having to decide to do that, you're probably receiving information from a lot of different agencies to
So did they submit any of that to
substantiate the
Congress?
claims.
Did they submit any of that to Congress?
I don't. I apparently
No.
not. I'm not
No.
certain. Yeah. So no.
if there was that evidence, they would have submitted it to Congress.
I don't know. Maybe they would. Maybe they wouldn't have.
Why wouldn't they? That makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I think that honestly, the way that the left reacts to Trump's, again, I know you don't want to agree with this, but this is like a 60-40 issue. Most Americans are supportive of these
That's
actions.
just not true. Give me a single poll that says that. Give me a single poll that says that.
I'll say that's more of my personal speculation on the issue and just kind of
I'm sorry. I walk on the street. I ask people about this. None of the fucking people would support this. If they
I'm
heard
sure
my
if you hang
position
out
on
with a lot of
this,
middle-of-the-road
none of them would
people.
fucking support that. That's such a lie. It's such a lie. You think that
there-
the
there
average
will be
American
going on
would
this-
justify extrajudicial killings without due process, not during war times, which provokes a possible war with
narco-terrorists, maybe they
Venezuela? Wait, there was no evidence that they were.
Well, again, I think that in time, we will maybe
you know
see
what?
that
You know
there
what?
is.
Do you think it would be justified for the Biden administration to call you a narco terrorist and just to bomb you?
No.
Actually, it's possible that he was working with cartels, so we just decided to bomb him.
So, regardless, though,
Robert possibly could have been dealing with the cartels. He possibly could have had guns and drugs that could have harmed U.S. citizens. So let's just drone strike his house. Take him out. Let's take him out.
I suppose that is something they could do, but that would not be.
It's a 60-40 issue. Actually, most Americans support his house being drone striked.
And I think that the reason Trump does this stuff is because of the reaction it gets and how it pushes away people in the middle from the Democrat Party and left values, frankly. Like,
no,
again,
people are not being pushed away from me people are not being pushed away from me by saying murder is bad. Like, you shouldn't murder people without evidence. Like, I'm sorry. If you think that's moving people away from my position, you're fucking insane.
I don't think most people have that same framing of this issue, though.
Really? Yeah, because that's literally the framing of the article you just cited to me.
Okay. I'm just saying
really, because it is. The framing of the article you just cited says that.
I don't think that that's a coherent point that you made, but I think
that's the article. That's what the article you cited said.
The article said that there's no drugs on board, but it didn't say they weren't connected to. It
said there was no evidence.
Right. That there were drugs on board.
So if there's no evidence,
they didn't deny that they were connected to the cartel.
Wait. What was the evidence that they said that they were associated with the cartel?
So what we just talked about, that's not been released by the administration.
So then, if it hasn't been released, there's no evidence.
There is no public evidence. Yes, I agree.
Okay, so there's none of the evidence. They would be showing the evidence, by the way.
Well, see, that's the thing. That was the point I was making. Is the reaction that he gets from not sharing it is almost politically worth it because it drives you guys insane. Everything he does.
Yeah, murdering people without due process extrajudicially in international waters, which is the international war crime, by the way. You're justifying international war crimes right now.
Can you fathom that maybe someone would see Trump blowing that boat up and think, oh, he's targeting cartel people who kill millions of Americans with drugs every year?
I'm sorry, you go to any of our allies, they're going to say this is insane. You go talk to fucking MAGA extremists. MAGA extremists are going to think it's totally okay and justified because they're fucking insane, okay? But if you go to our allies, you go to Canada, you go into Europe, you go into Asia, you ask them whether or not they think this was justified, they look at you like you're fucking insane. Because our country has gone off the fucking cliff. Is gone fucking insane. The fact that you are on my stream right now, justifying this and thinking that it's an okay perspective and thinking 60% of Americans support this is a fucking disgrace to our nation. It's a disgrace. Okay? The fact that you think 60% of Americans support that is a disgrace.
What's more disgraceful is the millions of people who suffer from drug addiction, homelessness, suicide.
You're acting like you care about them? You're acting like you care about them?
Do.
Name 3 policies Trump has influenced to get passed to benefit people in those conditions.
Well, so he passed the Trump aid, right? That's like a thing to try and get the pharmaceutical drug costs down, I think. Mark Cuban has mentioned his support of that. He passed the largest middle and lower income tax cut with the big, beautiful bill. And then he.
The middle income tax cut.
You said 2 to 3. So
by the way, I just want to let you know the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was aspect of the big beautiful bill, Kamala Harris would have kept all of the tax cuts for income earners under $400,000 a year. So Donald Trump actually imposed a greater tax on income under $400,000 a year because he's imposed a tariff that has a regressive negative impact on low and middle income individuals. So actually the highest tax increase in U.S. history through the context of tariffs. But apparently you don't care to mention that.
No, I mean, we didn't talk about that. I actually agree with your position on tariffs. I don't think that those are...
But that means that there's a net increase in taxes for Trump's administration comparative to Kamala Harris's administration for income earners under $400,000 a year.
I mean, obviously the time will tell if that's true or not. I mean, there are a lot of indications that inflation is running hot, so I don't necessarily think that it's like unfathomable, but the long-term effects of tariffs, I mean, are only going to be known in the long term. So I don't think you can really say.
No, it's not true. Economists already know what's going to happen.
Well, they try and predict.
Yes, because we know how tariffs operate, and because we have historical examples of tariffs.
Okay. All right. If you say so.
Wait, this isn't just me. This is most economists.
Well, that's fine. I understand
most economists are against Donald Trump's tariffs.
But I mean, this is very superficial, but we're not going to know what happens until it actually happens.
Wait, what do you mean?
There's no way of knowing of the effect of the tariff policy until the tariff policies have actually gone into place and had
it's already happening. Two, we have historical examples of this being true.
The Supreme Court has not really allowed, or the courts rather have not really allowed for most of Trump's tariffs initiatives to pass because Congress is usually responsible for those types of things. So that's kind of the interesting part about this, is that Trump is claiming that the tariffs are doing so good when they're not really actually in place, and then the left tries to use
the tariffs are in place.
Well, again, I don't think that's actually accurate.
They are. They literally are in place.
Let me do some quick research for you here real quick.
Yeah. At least some. There's some that he's paused, but
because of deals that he's made with the countries, which that was also part of the plan.
Which there's no actual legitimate deal that we've gotten anything out of the benefit from.
According to GPT, as of October 2025, a substantial portion of the tariffs imposed during Donald Trump's second term remain in effect. Okay, so you're all right. 69%, even though that's not 100% of them. All right. So, okay, my point is disproven. So, yeah, I guess, like I said, man, the time will tell then how the tariffs are going to affect the economy. And as I conceded, the inflation number was pretty high, or was high this month compared to the target rate. And I don't think that's good. And I do think the economy is, frankly, set to have a pretty substantial kind of correction. I don't know. I think that might be happening regardless of any president. But, yeah, I'm not in favor of the tariffs by any means.
Yeah, but that imposes a greater tax burden on lower and middle income individuals.
Yeah, I agree.
So, by the way, none of these policies actually address people who are homeless, address people who have addiction to drugs. None of them do, okay? I can give you specific examples of ones that specifically do from behalf of the Biden-Harris administration, because they actually, at the end of their administration and prior to that point, were addressing the crisis of F-drug in this country, and it was decreasing in this country, right? They were actually acknowledging the outcomes specifically, and they were actively doing things to address it. They're increasing access to healthcare. They're increasing access to like pharmaceuticals that people need, right? Like by literally limiting the drug costs, right? And by passing regulations, right? Donald Trump hasn't been doing that. Donald Trump's biggest regulation that he passed was for a part of Medicare, right? For the $35 cap on insulin. Kamala Harris, through the Inflation Reduction Act, expanded that to the entirety of Medicare, to the Inflation Reduction Act. And then she was advocating for making it for everyone, not just for people who are on Medicare.
No, the exact discounts, but I mean, that's obviously a good thing, though, right? I mean,
yeah, if we can reduce drug costs, but I think that they should be a lot stricter on that.
Well, and I was going to say, like, I don't
like universal healthcare systems like Canada. It's like $6 a vial.
I don't think that socialized medicine is necessarily like a thing you can't talk about. I think that that's an interesting consideration, especially when you are talking about middle and working class protections. And to me, that's what actual populism is. And clearly, people, I mean, medical debt is the number one leading cause of bankruptcy in the country. And that's terrible. And I mean, I have my personal experiences with the medical system, so I think it sucks too. So I'm not like one of those people who's like completely anti that sort of thinking about it. But, you know, to say that Trump doesn't care about like the well-being of people, I think is a little disingenuous.
Yeah, can you name one
If his
policy he's
approach is
passed to
different.
help homeless people?
To help homeless people? No, honestly, I can't off the top of my head think of anything. I'm sure that there's a ton of initiatives to make development easier, which is meant to addressing the homeless crisis.
Literally no policies.
Okay, yeah, that's bad. I think that that's something that needs to be addressed.
Okay, so then like, how are you going to specifically bring this up as like a point to be like, oh, you know, Donald Trump cares so much about people who are homeless, people who are addicted, and you know, this is specifically like something that they're addressing to a greater extent. When none of their bills do that, none of their conversations do that. They have never even brought up this as an issue.
I mean, I've heard Donald Trump talk about housing as an issue, not homelessness specifically. I won't deny that, but housing affordability, yeah. Specifically, as I mentioned, the kind of deregulation to incentivize development of properties, I think is really the
Do you think it
main
helps
policies that he's in.
Do you think it helps people who are homeless to be cut off of food stamps? Or they're medicated?
No.
Okay, when he's cutting 10 million people off their health insurance through Medicaid, and he's cutting 2.5 million people off their access to health to food stamps on average every single month, and 420,000 kids on average off their access to free school lunch and breakfast on average every month. So, I mean, all of those policies we just pointed to are examples of things that make it worse for people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that like government assistance is necessarily the best answer to addressing like food insecurity and poverty. I think strengthening
what's a better way?
I was going to say strengthening the family and providing them economic opportunity in the country seems
Through
to
what?
be far more beneficial.
Through what?
Through deregulation.
How do you
and
strengthen
economic
the family,
stimulation.
and how do you increase access to job opportunities?
And well, you make it easier and affordable to have children, and you set
By doing
up
what?
having tax codes that benefit families and working class people.
Like a child tax credit?
Sure, like a child tax credit. I'm a
Like
big advocate of
$6,000 for the first year
anyone
of a child's
making
life, $3,600 through
anyone
25 years
making
old,
less than
$3,000 to being 18.
$100,000 shouldn't. I think anyone making less than $100,000 shouldn't have to pay any federal income tax. Frankly,
Well, the reality of the matter is that under both plans, they're going to, and actually under Kamala Harris's plan, people under 100,000 would pay less in taxes than Donald Trump's plan. Okay, Kamala Harris also advocated for an increase to the child tax credit. Donald Trump wants $2,000. She wants $6,000 for the first year of a child's life, $3,600
that
to
makes
25
sense.
years old,
I'm
$3,000
probably a
to
little
the
more
18.
liberal on my tax policy than most Republicans are. So I wouldn't deny that that's probably true. And like I said, I kind of support a pretty, not like redistributionist, but I definitely support a kind of socialized idea of tax brackets. And like, and in the 40s and the 30s, we used to have 50-60% federal income tax. I would definitely be in favor of something like that coming back.
Okay, so then you sound like Democrat economically speaking.
I'm a populist. That's right. I'm a populist.
Okay, so then why do you support Trump if literally all the things you just brought up in terms of addressing addiction and homelessness, right, are not even addressed by the Republican Party and by the Trump administration?
Well, I don't think that they're addressed by the Democrat Party either. Frankly,
they actually are.
Okay, maybe they are, but I think that the Democrat Party has so many issues, like in its root and core of like its culture and things that it values. I think are really antithetical. Not the Democrat Party, rather, the left side of the Democrat Party encapsulates values that are antithetical to American values, in my view. And so, like, there
like
is
what?
no, yeah. So I think that kind of frankly, the ideas we were just discussing, like kind of extreme socialization of programs and massive federal bureaucracy.
Give specifics.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, Social Security, for instance.
There's
like massive.
Actually, didn't Trump do a no tax on Social Security thing? So he'd reduce the taxes on Social Security?
I don't know. I think Social Security in of itself is a terrible program. So that's kind of the main point that I'm trying to get at.
So then, like, what policy on Social Security do you disagree with the Democrats on? Like, as a whole, Social Security?
Yeah, I think that if you support Social Security, like, that's a bad policy. So I disagree with Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, so then, like, can you give me something specific to Democrats that doesn't exist in terms of Republicans, like Trump?
Sure.
That means that you like Trump over the Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be maybe, and it's pretty controversial, but obviously a lot of, like, the social leftism and the trans issues specifically is one that
What about
obviously I think about. Well, I think that I think that like there are certain truths about reality that one party believes and the other doesn't, and so like, you know, if you're trying to have
are you saying one party believes in science and the other one doesn't?
No, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like that. It's
really because I know a party doesn't believe in science.
Maybe,
and it's not the Democrats.
Yeah, I know you're going to say something like that, and that's fine. But like on the trans issue specifically, you know, like if you can change your sex, like to me, that is not necessarily a political question. That is like a question of.
No one's saying you can change your sex, right? Gender and sex are different.
I think there are people who think that, though, right?
Okay,
there are people who
like
think you can change your sex.
0.01% of people?
I don't know. I do not know, but I think it's probably little higher than that.
I am a Democrat. Like I literally talk to people on the left all the time, and we believe gender and sex is different. Gender is based upon like socially constructed norms and commitments towards social and cultural norms that are typically associated with certain sexes, whereas sex is biological.
Yeah, that's fine, but I think that there are a lot of left-leaning people who think you can, in fact, change your sex, and that reality is very valuable to it. Okay. What about the admiral in the Biden administration, or even there's actually two, that was the transsexual man to woman? I mean, they were transsexual, so they changed their sex. They thought that they were a woman.
Transgender.
But they were born.
They're transgender.
No. They actually thought that they were a woman.
Yeah, being a woman doesn't mean that you think that you're biologically female.
Sure. Okay. So maybe that's what I mean then. Yeah.
So
sorry.
That's different than sex. So sex is biological.
Well, no. Okay. Whatever terminology I need to use to make this a cohesive argument. That person
you just talked about gender,
that
not
they
sex.
were the biological other sex.
No, they didn't.
That's what they thought. Yeah.
Name the person.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, while he looks that up,
Levine.
I'll think if who?
Rachel Levine, but I'll give you a second anyways.
Okay. Let's see. And can you give me a source that says that they thought they were the other sex?
Well, like a quote. Yeah,
or like any indication of such.
Yep, let me look it up for you.
Wait, I don't think that they're trans.
Okay.
I'd have to check. Let me make sure.
I'm telling you they are. Yeah, Levine became the first openly transgender
hold up.
Yeah.
I was seeing something else. Yes, they are openly trans. They don't think that they are the other sex though.
Okay. You don't think so, really?
Nope, they never said that.
Well, just because you don't say it doesn't mean you don't think it.
Can you give me any evidence that they think that?
I mean, the way that they present themselves.
What about the way that they present themselves tells you about their perspectives in terms of biological sex? Because your original claim was that they thought that they changed their biological sex, which is not what she thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you think, but I mean, I think it's possible that
it's possible now. So there's no evidence, dude. What is up with this speculation, dude? This actually is pissing me off, dude. Your whole reason why you support an adjudicated rapist that incited a violent section at the Capitol, that cheated on every single one of his wives, that said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years, that bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent, where an 18-year-old came out, so there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old while they were changing, right? We're in those rooms when Donald Trump would barge in, right? The reason why you voted for them is because of a point that you can't even prove.
Well,
that you just moved the goalpost on. Your original claim was that they did think this, and now you're claiming it's possible they think this. You realize how stupid that is, right?
Yeah, I do realize that. Yeah, that is inconsistent. I'll give you that. I'm not saying I voted for Donald Trump specifically on his position on trans
people.
I guess maybe overall the point that I'm trying to make, and maybe I'm trying to be around the bush, is that like I don't know. I don't think that you can like. I think it's more of a illness when you have that sort of obsession with your own identity. It's not like a natural expression of who you are. And so, like, to me, maybe that's probably a better way to articulate my feelings on the issue and why I think that, like,
So what do you mean by
fundamentally, I can never
natural
vote.
expression of who you are? I'm wearing clothes right now. Is that natural?
Well, I think it goes back to kind of my faith and, like, yeah, so I would say that it's pretty natural. Like, you're
It's
acting
natural for me
within-
to wear clothes right now? Really? What
Sure.
animals within nature are doing so?
wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Not many.
Name them.
It would be weird if they did.
Okay, so obviously it's not natural.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's not natural for human beings to wear clothes. So is it wrong for me to wear clothes?
Well, no, it's not that. It's not natural for a male to have a female identity.
It's gender in of itself isn't necessarily considered a natural phenomenon because it's dependent upon human social interaction. Okay.
Well,
like
yeah,
gender
I agree.
doesn't
I think,
exist
like,
for
gender's a
other
weird-
animals on the planet. So it's like
Yeah.
the idea that it would specifically be independent of
You could make the argument, too.
Human-made concepts is crazy.
Well, you can make the argument too that gender doesn't really apply in humans either. It's like, I mean, why is like a skirt a gendered thing? Like, why is a skirt not just a skirt? You know, and there's obviously cultures that men wear skirts.
Those
so.
are socially constructed phenomena.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, right, that's fine. But, you know,
So man-made,
yes,
not
I mean,
natural.
that kind of defeats my own argument in a way. But I think that though it's more of like the mental question of identity that is the issue. It's not so much like the natural expression, because there's obviously conflict within a trans person.
So what's wrong with the cultural identity that acknowledges that trans people have valid identities? What's wrong with that?
Maybe I don't. I mean, it's valid. I think it's like a weird adjective there, but like
the way I'm using the term, it's logically coherent.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that like anyone is illegitimate or like you should not exist because you suffer with this identity question.
Is it logically coherent for me to say trans women are women and trans men are men? In the way that I'm using the terms.
Trans? No.
No? So what's incorrect about the way that I'm using the terms?
Trans men are men. Like, to me, a trans man is a woman who represents as a man, and that does not make you a man.
So based on the way that I'm using it, because you're using biology, which is obviously not the way that I'm using it, and obviously I don't even think it's the way that you typically use gender either. But so how am I logically incoherent for saying that trans people have valid identities and that trans men are men and trans women are women based upon the way that I use the term man and woman? Because I'm not using it in a biological sense here.
I'm trying to understand your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, is there anything incoherent with what I'm saying? Like, is there anything logically contradictory with what I was saying?
That a trans man is a man?
And a trans woman's a woman?
That logically does not make sense to me, no.
Okay, so let me clarify what a man is. A man is an adult human that's committed towards the social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the male sex, right? That's what I'm using. Right?
What about like XY chromosomes? Is that in your definition or no?
No.
Okay. All right. That helps. Okay.
Yeah, the way I'm using the term is based upon your social
So man is just
towards certain social and cultural norms is a prescription of identity, right? So like in that certain context, the way that I'm using the term, is there any contradiction?
I'm honestly still trying to with the question too. I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, I don't think that a trans, like someone who is a woman who represents themselves as a man.
You could say you use definitions differently. Give us a second though. Is the way that I'm using the term contradictory?
Oh, I don't get the premise. Contradictory and contradicting what?
Is it impossible for that to be a definition of a man?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yes. To me, again, that's right. I think
Why is it impossible?
Because in the biological representation or the biological truth rather of male and female, I think that it goes back to my being Christian. There are ways that men and women are supposed to represent themselves that are considered.
What's wrong about my definition?
Right.
You consider, again, you keep saying, I don't use that definition. I use a biological sense of the terms. That's not what I'm asking you right now. I'm saying what's incoherent about the way that I'm using it. Because when I say this, as long as there's nothing incoherent about the way that I'm using it, then it would be that trans people have valid identities and there's nothing logically incorrect about that. So what about that would be such a big issue for you that, where you would specifically vote for someone like Donald Trump because of this? Like, seriously, like there's nothing in your Christian religion that says that you have to think this way.
Okay, so I guess it would have to do with the affirmation of the identity that I would have the issue with.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
What I just said. I just said that I don't think that a biological male should represent themselves as a female.
Okay, why do we have to utilize your particular definitions? Why do we have to do what you want?
And so, I understand. That's a more interesting question, and that just comes to what societies value, and that's why I support the Republican Party.
Why should that be society's value?
Well, again, it goes back to my faith and truth in the Bible, and that there are ways that men and women are supposed to represent themselves that are in line with God. And
nowhere in the Bible does it say, "Art thou not be trans"? Nowhere in the Bible does it say that you specifically can't wear clothes that are considered feminine, right? And within any sense. Like, for example, then that would mean that George Washington was doing something wrong by wearing makeup, high heels, a wig, etc. Right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that they're sinful people.
Oh, so was he engaging in sin by doing that?
Sure.
Really? So you think all the men that wore dresses and high heels and makeup were engaging in sin by doing that? Like Trump? So Trump's sinning by wearing makeup, right?
I mean, no, it's not like makeup.
Wait, but he puts spray tan on. That's makeup.
But like, he doesn't present as a woman, though. You know.
But he's putting spray tan on. He's presenting as an Oompa Loompa.
That's fine, but that doesn't make him a trans person.
Yeah, I know. I never said it did. But he's presenting as an Oompa Loompa. Why is that okay?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
Yeah, so I said that he's presenting as an Oompa Loompa. Why is that okay?
Well, I think that he's allowed to spray tan if he wants. I don't think that he's, again, like misrepresenting his biological sex or trying to present as anything other than his biological sex. So.
Okay, well, I mean, he's presenting as something other than his natural skin, right?
Sure. Yeah.
He's spray tanning on.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, maybe that's a sin, maybe not, but
what about JD Vance engaging in drag?
That's not true.
He has.
No.
Yes.
All right, let me see. I can't believe that for a second. JD Vance drag?
Mm-hmm.
What about George Santos? Didn't he do drag? Oh, shit. All right.
I just saw it.
Is that real? Really?
Yes,
That's gotta be
real.
A costume, bro. That's a costume, man.
That's what drag is, dude. That's literally what drag is.
No, dude. Drag is like the face, like big makeup, big voluptuous women. That looks like a costume.
Wait, so no, that's literally what drag is. Drag is a performance. Okay, so you just said that drag is justified. You know, he's pro drag. Let's go.
I am not pro drag. No, I'm not.
Okay, so then you disagree. You think JD Vance was sinning by doing that?
Well, yeah, of course. If he was doing a drag, I think he was sinning. But again, I don't think that.
So, do you think it's wrong that JD Vance is not going by his name assigned at birth?
Is that attached to some biblical principle? Maybe.
No,
sure.
no. Like you have an issue with people not presenting in which they were like originally, right? So you have an issue with JD Vance presenting his name in a manner in which is not his assigned name at birth.
Abstract, and I think a name's a little more abstract than your.
Why is it okay for him to change his name?
Well, I mean, a name is just a name. It has nothing to do with who you are.
Really,
like,
it totally does.
From a biological sense. I mean, yeah, in a social way.
So wait, so so it's like it's okay for him to change his social identity because it has nothing to do with his biology.
Sure. Yeah. that seems consistent to me.
Oh, okay. Well, then, could you say the same thing for trans people?
Well, no, because again, I think that goes against kind of biological
It's a
truth.
social identity. It doesn't go anything against any biological truth. And if you have such an issue, hold up. If you have such an issue with people going against like science and biology, I wonder why you support Donald Trump. Because he says the climate's going to start cooling. Science just doesn't know it yet. He said, don't take Tylenol because it is the case that it causes autism after there literally is no evidence indicating that. There's a Swedish study with 2.5 million people it overlooks after taking into account siblings and genetics. There's absolutely no association between Tylenol usage during pregnancy and autism. Okay? So this guy actively denies science, bro. He said the windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. I tell you that. The windmills are, they're killing the whales. Okay? And we should look into, using disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19, right?
What's the point you're trying to make here? I'm sorry?
He's radically anti-science. Okay? Radically anti-science. The idea that you would say that Donald Trump would be a better candidate because Democrats create a culture of being anti-science or anti-biology is fucking nuts. Because Trump radically is against science.
I don't think that was necessarily the main point I was trying to make. It was just that is a fundamental question of truth. Like, if you can represent yourself in a way that is antithetical to your biology. And I don't think that it's wrong for society to question whether or not we want to allow for that sort of social behavior to exist.
Again, what's the bigger issue in terms of denying of science? What Donald Trump's done or what we've done? Because we're not even denying science. We're literally not. We're referencing social identity, okay? Trump is literally denying science.
Oh, man. It's a fair question. I think maybe I'm just saying this because of my bias, but I think that the social contaminants are far more dangerous than kind of obscure medical advice.
That creates social contaminants. We're in a public health crisis.
Yeah, no, I
right
understand. Now. I think that Tylenol issue is far less consequential than the trans issue. So there you go. That's my answer to your question.
What do you mean by far less consequential? How is the way that I view trans identity consequential?
The social norms that people are willing to accept are going to impact how individuals live in the society. And
in what way?
Yeah. So, if we live in a society that is more open and accepting of certain ideologies such as transgenderism or homosexuality, then naturally you're going to see those numbers increase and society is less tolerant.
No. People will just be accepted who already are gay and trans. They're not becoming gay and trans. They already were, and they're just coming out with the fact that they're gay and trans. That's not a bad impact on society. It's people who already were gay and trans saying that they're gay and trans to society because they're accepted in being gay and trans. Now, that's not a social contaminant. That's not bad. There's no negative consequence there. Now, what are the negative consequences with Donald Trump denying science? Well, women are specifically not going to utilize Tylenol when they're pregnant. So it's either that there's going to be untreated maternal fever, which can lead to greater likelihoods of different types of disabilities, miscarriage, and harms in terms of pregnancy and the health of the pregnant individual. Plus, they could possibly utilize other types of mechanisms to treat their fever, which are going to be more negatively impactful to their pregnancy and their health. Tylenol is one of the only safe things that someone can use during the context of pregnancy to treat fever, okay? The idea that that's going to lead to no consequences would be insane. The fact that there would be no consequences to denying climate change and saying the climate's going to start cooling and science just doesn't know it yet is obviously absurd because climate change is real, it's happening, and the longer that we don't act like it's real and we do not address it, the circumstances are going to be worse. It's going to be significantly more costly to address.
Yeah, I think maybe the climate issue can be a substantial issue in the future, and I think that kind of how we power ourselves into the future in terms of like clean, productive energy is super important. So, yeah.
So do you see my point here? That Donald Trump, the way that he denies science, literally leads to a public health crisis in
Yeah,
the country.
so-
Just those two things. I can keep going. Those
Yeah,
are only
yeah,
two
no, and
things. I
so
can keep
I'll
going.
say this to you, though.
But specifically for what you bring up about us, there's not a negative
I think-
consequence you can
so-
mention.
so-
Only
so
just
think about
people
this,
who are
though.
gay and trans acknowledging that they're gay and trans. That was it. That's all you could bring up as an issue within our society. And that's not an issue. That's actually better.
I think that in terms of like impacting the day-to-day life, those social issues are far more substantial to people than kind of these long-term technocratic issues.
Those are
that
social
don't-
issues.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't really seem that significant to people now when you can't like afford to live day to day.
Oh, okay.
And-
So, but trans people existing and gay people existing, that's an
No,
issue when you can't
no,
afford
not-
things? I'm sorry, do you
no,
think Donald
no,
Trump's better
no.
for affordability?
But I think that the favorability of those issues indicate a greater cultural normacy that perhaps is contributing to the economic rot and decay of the middle and lower class.
Oh, what evidence do you have of that? You think people acknowledging themselves as gay and trans harms our economy? How so?
No, I think it's more of like kind of Marxism / leftism that's more dangerous.
This isn't
and
Marxism or leftism. So now we've swapped to
So-
economic ideology, and now we're not referencing
Leftism-
trans and gay people, right?
Well, I think that those identities are outgrowths of leftist thoughts. So I think they are
No, they're not.
connected.
No, they're not.
They are. because
Accepting gay and trans people is not Marxist, okay? Like, dude, I'm not a Marxist, and I accept gay and trans
no,
people.
I'm not saying that. It's just more like kind of the marginalization of identities that is a little Marxist. And so,
Wait, you understand that Marxism isn't the only ideology that acknowledges marginalization?
sure, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, then what was your point of saying that? What?
I'm saying
sorry.
that-
We could acknowledge the
that
marginalization of people without accepting Marxism.
But American leftism is influenced by Marxism. So that's the
I'm not even a
relevancy of bringing
leftist.
it up. Okay, I'm not.
I'm not
Did I
even a
say you
Marxist.
were?
Where are you getting
I
this?
literally didn't say you were. I didn't
This
say
has
you
no. It has
were.
this has nothing to do with it. Marxism and
No,
socialism and communism have nothing to do with gay and trans people at all. Literally nothing.
Right. So that's the point I'm making is that they are connected though.
They aren't.
Yes, they are.
No,
because
they are not.
Social liberalism leads.
Wait, I just want to let you know there are. I just want you to know. Historically speaking, there have been plenty of Marxist ideologies that have been homophobic. Did you know that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there are plenty of places that have specifically adopted Marxist ideology that
That's fine.
anti the LGBTQ plus community. So I don't know why this is your argument when it is the case that we have plenty of examples, right,
Well-
of the fact that it's not associated with each other.
Well, we're talking about the American left, and they are associated with each other. LGBTQ
So the American
is
left,
definitely
so
associated
the American
with the
left
American
is
left.
wait. So then you're saying the American left accepts gay people and trans people, so you have to be against it. So anything that the American left accepts, you have to be against.
No.
Okay, so now you're just not making sense.
No, I'm saying that in terms of like practical government policy and like whether or not the government should be funding some of these gender affirming cares and things like
The
that.
government's not.
Well, I think it does actually.
Really?
There are public research institutions that do research on these issues and try and justify the
Yeah,
efficacy
there should be
of
research. That's
Sure,
important.
Right. So right. That's what I'm saying. So you agree and acknowledge that there is public interest and investment in
That doesn't necessarily entail that there's public investment.
transgender. I'm sorry.
That doesn't necessarily entail that there's public investment, private research.
Well, there are public institutions that do research on
Such as?
trans. Sure. Give me a second.
And I have no issue with this. So I like, again, this is your big problem. This is your big problem, is that we're doing research into gender affirming care.
Yes, that is a problem of mine. Like I don't understand why that's funny to you. I don't know if
No, it's actually embarrassing that that's what you're focused on, and that's what you're prioritizing instead of addressing any of the other things that we've talked about in this live, or the affordability crisis in this country that Donald Trump is not acknowledging is making worse for everyday average to a greater extent because tariffs have a regressive negative impact on low and middle income individuals because they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer goods.
Okay, sure. So I agree with you that tariffs hurt middle and lower income people, but I think that the tax credit that Donald Trump passed also helps them. So that's the only reason I said that.
Again, the tax credit and the tax cuts that would be applicable to income earners under $40,000 a year would stay the same and actually be better off. Like, she wants to increase the child tax credit. So give me an example of one tax credit that Donald Trump was advocating for that Kamala Harris was not. That means that the working class would have a better and more affordable lifestyle.
The child tax credit is in the big beautiful bill, so I think
it goes from $1,000 to $2,000. Kamala Harris wants to increase it from $2,000 to $6,000 for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, $3,000 through them being 18. Why would you support Donald Trump for a less of a tax cut? That makes no fucking sense.
Okay, that's a fundamentally different question than you were just asking me, for one. But secondly, I would maybe
that means it's less affordable. That means it's less affordable for working class Americans if they get less of a tax cut.
But there are other costs that are factored into it. I mean,
such as?
Well, I mean, our national debt is a major.
Trump signed off on more debt-related spending.
He signed off on
$4 trillion more debt-related spending.
Trust. I was not in favor of the big beautiful bill, not because of it being like not having enough like benefits in it. I think that the spending of the government should drastically be reduced and because I think that our national debt is the largest national security issue that the country has, because that is indicative of
name something that Trump is better on, not something Trump is worse on. I don't know why we're talking about this when Trump is worse on this. Trump signed off on more debt-related spending. The Committee for Responsible Federal Budget indicated $4 trillion more debt-related spending on behalf of Trump, signed into law, comparative to the Biden-Harris administration. For the next campaign plans for the Harris versus Trump, it was $4 trillion more on a central estimate for Trump comparative to Harris. Try again.
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of that.
Yeah, so the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget indicates, based upon campaign plans of the Harris administration versus the Trump administration, that based on a central estimate, Trump would add $4 trillion more debt-related spending comparative to Harris.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll never know.
What do you mean we'll never know?
They predicted it. Kamala's plan is not going into place, so we don't know what would happen.
No, we do, because she specifically advocated for these things. So again,
in terms of these, you're citing a study of people trying to predict what could happen, not what actually happened.
I'm referencing the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, a bipartisan analysis from the federal government.
Okay. You don't think they could be wrong?
I think that's the best information that we have.
Okay.
So
that's fine.
So do you want to give a response to this? Because this is very clear.
Yeah, like I said, we'll never know, because Kamala's plan is not going into effect, and
you're such a disingenuous prick.
That's
genuinely like there's no evidence that you have for your position at all.
Come on, man.
And you don't accept any evidence.
Bro.
I gave you a bipartisan committee from the federal government, and you're such a dishonest fuck that you can't accept it at all. And you brought up the national debt as an argument for why Trump is better off, when there's no reason to indicate that it's better off because of Trump.
I didn't
Give me one argument or any evidence that indicates that Trump is better off in terms of the national debt.
I didn't. First of all, I didn't say that. I said I did not support the big beautiful bill because of its effect on the national debt.
I said overall. You brought up national debt being better off for Trump. Now, give me a reason to think that.
I literally did not say that. I didn't say that.
Then what was the point of you bringing up national debt? Because I asked you specifically for a policy that demonstrates that Donald Trump is better for affordability comparative to Kamala Harris, and you provided me nothing.
Yeah. So I just said, I can elaborate on that. So I mentioned the tax credit, which I think is good for affordability. I also think that increasing our domestic manufacturing and our domestic production of energy are also going to be crucial to the affordability crisis, especially the domestic production of energy. That is one of the number one drivers of cost of living, because that impacts not only like housing, it impacts transportation, it impacts food. So that is something that I'm definitely encouraging. I'm seeing encouraging signs. And I don't know if you saw this or not, Parker, but the national average for gas prices is now below $3, which is quite incredible.
That's not true.
And it actually is true.
The Energy Information Administration did not indicate that.
I got
you. Information, show me. I'd love to see.
I got you.
So the domestic manufacturing investment, real domestic manufacturing investment, has declined since Trump got in office.
Damn it!
Not only in his first term.
and 5 cents.
No, it's $3.16.
No, according to the gas prices.AAA. Yeah, AAA.
Triple A. If you go to the Energy Information Administration, that's not what they say.
Energy Administration. What'd you call it?
Energy Information Administration, gas prices, and then put by month.
Okay. Let me see what I got for you here. Tools. Right? Is that what we're looking for? Or, no, we're looking for gas prices. Okay. Okay, that
bro, why is this shit not loading for me, bro? This is getting frustrating, bro. Why load, bro? My phone is acting so weird.
Oh, wow.
There we go. It's
National gas spot prices.
It's actually gone up even more.
No, it's $2.99 right here. What's a BT?
It actually says $3.29 now. What? It went up even more?
Are we looking at the same thing?
Yeah, I'm looking at Energy Information Administration. Yeah, gas prices.
I see 312, 36, 31.
Wait, I literally looked at it before. It said 316.
298, 295.
What the fuck? Wait, hold up. Am I looking at a different graph? I'm so confused. Because
U.S. regular gasoline prices. Yeah,
it was 307, 316 before, and now it's 319 at the beginning of his administration, and then 329 now. That's so confusing. I must be looking at a different graph. Retail gasoline prices. Okay, so I mean, this is all great. Yeah, it's gone up. I don't know where you got that. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, this is weird because, like I said, I'm looking at U.S. regular gasoline prices on the EIA.gov/petroleum/gas diesel/. And it says, as of 10/20/25, the U.S. average gas price was $3 and rounded up 2 cents a gallon. So
I'm looking at it right here. 307. Yeah. You see 307.6 right here? You scroll down.
Is that on the same website? Yeah.
316. This is Energy Information Administration.
Did you type in EIA.gov/petroleum/gas diesel?
It's literally, it says regular all formulations retail gas prices.
Oh, okay. Well, so look at U.S. regular gasoline prices.
Yeah, it says retail gasoline prices.
No, it said regular. It should say regular.
U.S. regular all formulations retail gasoline prices.
All right. Yeah, we're obviously not looking at the same thing because I'm.
What are you looking at, bro?
All right, let me try to turn my camera on here. Let me flip it. All right, here you go. Boom. All right, there you go. You see it?
That's 312.
Oh, no, look at it right there. 1025-25, 3.019.
That's a different page. I'd have to see this.
There you go, right there.
What is it for? U.S. regular gasoline prices. Where'd you see?
Right.
Is this diesel? Yeah. Oh, it says diesel.
No, diesel's below.
3.6.
Okay. But look at that. Actually, diesel's up. So I can see that. Diesel's up, but regular's down.
Hold up. So give me one sec. Because when you click on...
You're good.
When you click on the Energy Information Administration thing, it doesn't come up with that page for me.
Can I turn my camera off now?
Yeah, of course. I don't see that page at all. Like, when I look up Energy Information Administration gas prices, that page doesn't even come up.
I just typed in the EIA.gov, and then if you scroll down on the page, it shows you data, analysts, and projections, and it has natural gas, it has petroleum, coal, electricity, nuclear, and uranium. Ooh, how do you feel about that, Parker? Are you a big nuclear fusion fan or no?
Fusion isn't even a thing yet. You mean fission?
No, fusion is a thing.
No, it's not.
They have produced a positive reaction from a fusion reaction. They've produced energy.
It's not in use for energy, though.
Well, sure, yeah, but I mean, it's going to be, dude. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Okay, maybe. Anthony, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much on Cash App. Thank you. Morgan, thank you so much for the $5 as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll definitely have to see. Sonoma, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sonoma. Can we some W's for Sonoma in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. Tip with the $5. Thank you. Kate, thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo. Can we some W's for Kate in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Sadie, thank you for the $20 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Sadie. Sonia, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. W's for Sonia in the comment section right now. As well as I need to catch up on YouTube real quick, and then we're going to we're gonna continue this conversation. Dude, just give me 1 second real quick. I needed to catch up real quick. By the way, everyone, we have like an hour and 20 minutes left on the stream. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Hamster, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Martin with the 56 euros. Can we get some W's from Martin in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Martin. I really appreciate it. Yes, independent information is so important to get. Absolutely. I really appreciate it. Get some W's from Martin in the comment section right now for the 56 euros. Thank you so much, Martin. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hamster again with the $5. Wombly, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much, Wombly. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Literally the ultra rich. SR, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Blue, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Literally, though. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Blue. Nathan, thank you for the $2. Neo, thank you so much for the $2. Zach with the $20. Thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Literally, though. Thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate the $20. Boop, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. Toads, thank you so much for the $2. Zach, again, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Literally, though. It always boils down to that. Josh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $2. Thank you. Mary, thank you for the $10. Budget card, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Heather with the $10. Thank you. Gianna, thank you so much for the $5. Mary with the $5. Coffee, thank you for the $2. Budget, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Mary with the $10. Alexandra, thank you so much for the 10 euros. Martin, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. And Rocky, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. And Allison, thank you for the $2. I think I'm completely caught up, everyone. Again, if you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Plus, if you're on YouTube, everyone, hit that thumbs up, everyone. It should help get it out to more people. It really should help get it out to more people. So I would really, really, really appreciate it. And Jay, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Parker's looking at retail prices. He's looking at gas prices as far as how much Alfric SNG is to other nations. Huh, you must be, I'm looking at retail prices. You're not looking at retail prices. That makes sense.
Okay. That's, I don't know. This just says regular gasoline prices, US dollars. Yeah, I don't know.
Does it say retail?
Oh, here you go. Oh, okay. Actually, okay, that sounds about right. Here you go. At retail price, $13.13 again, or $3.13 a gallon. That was as of August 25, though. So that's, it's a little dated, but
yeah, it was $3.16 in September.
Well, I will say this though, Parker. In a lot of rural places, specifically, gas is below $3 a gallon. It's significantly below $3 a gallon where I live.
Okay, that's fine, but like it was like that prior to the election.
Well, no, it wasn't actually.
It was.
At least
it literally was.
No.
If you look at the Energy Information Administration data.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious of that.
Yeah, it was cheaper in January than what it is now. It was $3.07 in January.
Okay, we'll see.
As well as Chung Lee, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the $50 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Give me some W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you so much for the $50 on PayPal. That is so kind of you. W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Absolutely, I will. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Seriously, everyone's been so kind today, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for all the support. I really appreciate it. It's been really fun to be able to, still go live and like when I'm out, like in a different place. So like, I just want to say I love everyone so much. Y'all are so amazing.
Ooh,
and I can't wait to be back to my setup tomorrow. It'll be fun. Haven, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
yes, absolutely. People should absolutely donate to their local food banks because people are losing SNAP benefits. Absolutely. I totally agree. They said feedingamerica.org is a great place to start. Thank you so much, Haven. I really appreciate that information. Put some W's for Haven in the comments section right now. Thank you so much, Haven. Did you find it?
I found a great chart, actually, yeah. And I think that, so, as politics are, I'm not going to show it. Anyways, basically it does like year-to-year pricing, and it looks like this point last year gas prices are down, but your fact about them being lower in in January of this year and even December of last year is a fact. But I would say that it looks as though gas gets cheaper in the winter compared to the summer months, so I'll be curious what October and November yield.
Yeah, I mean, you could be curious about that, but I mean, the point that I'm making is that it's gone up since Trump got in office. His argument was to decrease
True.
gas prices. If he has not decreased gas prices,
It has increased very slightly. Yes, I will not deny that. So not as great a point maybe I thought it was. But when you look at the year to year though, it actually is quite significant how much cheaper gas is now versus a year ago today. Like for instance, in June of last year it was $3.10. I'm sorry, this year it was $3.10 average, and then in June of last year it was $3.40. So, you know.
so okay, again, how is Trump making things more affordable? Because it seems like to me,
Yeah. So
that
I
he's not.
think that when you look at that year to year, and then you look at when the administration entered, the domestic production of oil increased, and that's why the year to year price is down compared to the Biden administration. And so I think when you get to the year to year comparisons of October, November, and December, the Trump administration is going to have lower year to year prices than Biden does, or Biden did, I guess. If that's, yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking about a year ago, sure. But like again,
Yeah,
that wasn't his argument. His argument was to decrease gas prices, which has not happened.
Well, if they decrease year to year, then, I mean, right? That's
It was
decreasing
already
gas
on
prices.
trend to do that.
Okay. Well, that's fine to think about that. But like you said, the percentage difference in the year to year 2025 to 2024 to 2024 versus 2023 is significant. And that indicates a clear shift in policy related to petroleum and oil. So,
Okay. So, a few things here. So this isn't actually like leading to better conditions for working class people. This specifically isn't anywhere near like what he said it was going to do. And also, we're not domestically producing more, even. He's cut domestic production of renewable energy, which actually is become significantly more prevalent within the country because of the fact that it's becoming less expensive over time, according to the Department of Energy. So like that's incredibly important for us to have substitutes for different fossil fuels and for energy production in the United States. So why would he cut that if he wants to increase domestic energy and manufacturing investment?
probably because he doesn't feel as though those green sources of energy are sustainable and reliable sources to power the next industrial revolution that's coming.
They are.
Okay, well, that's fine for you to think, but I personally feel that the nuclear fusion
Do you really
route
think
is,
oil is going to stay around?
Yeah, it will for a while. I mean, the
For a while,
infrastructure.
but we're going to try and get rid of it, right?
I think that no, probably not. I mean, there's no way that we're ever going to
Yeah, we
get
are.
rid of oil.
Yeah, we will.
No, I mean,
We're not going to predominantly be
that.
using it for energy production.
For energy, right? But I mean, we're still going to need oil for stuff.
Obviously,
I think
sure.
that large-scale industrial power can or should come from nuclear fusion, and a lot of our current energy.
There's no
infrastructure-
evidence that we're near nuclear fusion right now. Like that's like something that is claimed
Oh.
for like it's like a bit out, and it's always been like that. Like, oh, we're 20, 30 years away. Like that's been like that for a bit now.
I mean, we're 20, 30 years away from renewables being able to sufficiently power the energy needs of the country. And
We
I
actually
think
are
you could
20
argue
to 30
that-
away in terms of renewable energy, but we're not 20 to 30 away in terms of
Well,
fusion. We have no indication of that. Now, you can
that's
say
not
that there has
true,
been
though.
things that are cool that have led into the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
But genuinely, like, I agree. Fusion would be great. But I don't think that we're near that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm no expert on fusion. I do try and pay attention to it, and I know that there has been the greatest amount of investment from the United States in fusion that it's ever been, and I know that in terms of like private industry as well, the amount of investment in fusion and nuclear energy in general, rather, is just increasing tremendously because of the energy needs for AI, quantum computing, and stuff like that. So
I definitely don't disagree with investing in nuclear. I have no issue with that. I just have to acknowledge the realities that we don't really have any good indication that we're pretty close to it.
yeah, I disagree with that characterization of the fusion field. Honestly, I think we are actually 20 to 30 years away from commercial viability in fusion energy.
What evidence do you have for that?
Yeah, as I had mentioned before, I mean, the investment for one, and secondly, the actual qualifiable gains. For instance, the ability to produce a net positive reaction of energy from a fusion reaction for one. Advances in like the technology.
Were we able to sustain that for long though?
No, but the proof of concept is there, and so to me and to other industry experts, not to other, to me and to industry leading experts who I listen to primarily, they obviously see that as strong viability and proof of concept.
So by the way, you listen to the industry leading experts when it comes to like nuclear fusion, but you don't look at them in terms of like plenty of other things, like economists in terms of
no, I mean
Donald Trump's policy.
Yeah, I think that economics is a far less settled science than fusion. So, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Rad?
No, actually, Parker, I was going to say I've been on here quite a bit. I appreciate you giving me the platform, man. It was nice talking with you. I'm sorry if you felt like I was being disingenuous or anything. I was really just trying to be authentic and communicate as appropriately as I could. So, sorry if I upset.
I mean,
you
I
or
I definitely think the points about murdering people who were literally in international waters is disingenuous. I think you should look back into that. I think you should do research in that instead of just assuming that whatever the Trump administration says is true about that.
I mean, well, we talked about it. I mean, I've seen the photos and I'm pretty convinced. So that is my research on the issue, frankly.
Frankly, I don't like you then. Genuinely, like if you think that you have enough reason to say that they should have been murdered, I genuinely don't like you, and no amount of us engaging further than that is going to change that. To be honest with you, like I genuinely, that pisses me off like fucking nothing else, dude. That really pisses me off. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello, how old are you? So the next individual, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. I don't know. Genuinely, shit like that ruins my mood. I'm going to be totally honest. Like, it really pisses me off. Like, just the fact that he's so fucking confident in just murdering people is crazy to me. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to join.
You're good. You're good. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go on the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you? So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking. Let's go on the next person. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everybody. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes, everyone. I think we're en route. There's like 3,000 people in the stream. I'd really appreciate if you like the stream. I think you have to close out the chat to be able to hit the like button sometimes.
Me?
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 21, was born, oh Jesus Christ, sorry, I'm not English. Geboren, wie sagt man geboren, Digga? 2004, March 2nd. I have a question for you.
What state do you live in?
I don't live in America.
Okay.
So I'm not.
Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. I forgot to put American on the only send a request. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Alrighty, let's go on to the next individual. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
23.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yep.
What's your birth year?
2003. Sorry, 22. 22, 2003 is my birthday.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. Why so?
I just would like to ask, what's your like your view on transgenders that have raped
Trans people?
trans people that have raped girls? And
Any person that's assaulted someone should be put in prison. I don't know why you'd specifically just bring up trans people. Most offenders are going to be like cis men.
So how do you think we should prevent that action or that from happening? Because I think that would definitely.
We could start doing that by not voting in people held civilly liable of sexual abuse. I think that would be a good way to start.
We stay on topic here. Like, let's just.
That is totally on topic. You just said, how do we reduce sexual assault from happening? Well, we don't vote people into the presidency that were held civilly liable of sexual abuse. We believe victims.
I'm specifically speaking towards like transgender people raping.
No, I don't know why it would specifically just only be in relation to trans people. I think that's a bit disingenuous to say that sexual assault has only to do with trans people.
I didn't say that. It's disingenuous for you to bring up that point.
No, it's not. You brought up SA. How can we reduce SA? And I gave you a blatant thing to address that.
So you have trouble listening.
I have trouble listening?
Yes.
Really?
Just like
I don't think I do. Taryn, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you, Taryn. Powers, thank you for the $5. Mimi, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Tilo, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate it. Lars with the $15. Thank you so much. Brittany, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much. And Will, thank you so much for the $5 as well. Thank you so much.
So before I bring up my question, once we're done with this live, Parker, what I want you to do is grab a shaving stick and shave the pubes that are on your chin because they look disgusting. And now let's try and listen here. So my question was,
that was really cringe, bro. That was really cringe that you felt like saying that.
You think it was cringe? Then it wasn't cringe.
Tell Trump to wipe off his spray tan.
Really funny, dude. Look at that stupid laugh, dude. So. Like I said, specifically, when we're speaking about preventing transgender people from sexually assaulting whatever opposite sex may be into contact.
What percent of sexual assaults are from trans people?
You want me to pull up? Do you think I'm like you think I'm an AI? Do you think I'm ChatGPT?
I think you could look it up because you're trying to like brand like SA as like a problem in relation to trans people. It has nothing to do with trans people.
I think it is a problem. I'll get to that point, but can you just like follow my line of questioning here? Can you answer my question?
Go ahead, ask it again.
So you have trouble listening?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I have trouble listening to bullshit.
Okay, so then why would you ask me what the question is if it's bullshit?
No, I'm just saying I have trouble listening to bullshit.
What? You just say what? Dude, answer the question. You know what my question was. My question is, how do we prevent sexual assaults happening when it's a transgender person against, whatever sex it may be in that context?
Well, you're not going to like my answer. I've already answered
question, dude.
I've already answered it. How do we prevent this? Well, we don't vote in rapists into the position of political office, like the Oval Office.
It's very
right. We specifically believe victims, right? Those are ways how we can reduce the likelihood of this happening by believing victims, by not voting people who are predators into those positions of power.
It's a very effective answer, bro.
It is a great answer.
So what if this continues to happen? What if this continues to happen hypothetically under a democratic?
Well, I'm not saying it's not going to happen at all. I'm just saying these are ways to reduce it from happening.
Let's forget about who we're voting in power, and let's speak specifically towards this question. How would you prevent it? If you were
those are mechanisms I would take to prevent it.
If you were put into power tomorrow, how would you prevent that from happening? Or at least in your view as a Democrat, how do you think your party should prevent that from happening? Which I don't think your party would. Given
you don't think we would prevent sexual assault when you voted for a rapist?
No. Oh my goodness!
You literally voted for a rapist. Ridiculous. This is so ironic. It's crazy.
You're ridiculous. Oh my god!
You voted for a rapist, and you're sitting here saying, "What are you guys? I don't think you guys are actually going to do anything to reduce sexual assault from happening." You voted for a rapist. What are you talking about, dude?
It's crazy to say. So before we even get into that. I'm not even gonna, before we even get to Trump being a quote unquote rapist, do you want to just answer my question?
I've already addressed it multiple times. I know you don't like my answer, but I've already addressed it.
It's a stupid answer.
It's not a stupid answer. Tell me how it's stupid.
It is. No, it is.
How is it
Because you're
stupid?
saying we should stop. So if a family of someone that got raped, their daughter got raped by someone who's quote unquote transgender, that's the answer that you're going to give them. Santana, dude, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
bro?
I would say that we want to address this as a society
Santana,
overall.
what
I don't
are
think
you
there's.
doing here?
Wait, so
Parker, stop.
what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I would prevent transgenders from
Trans
getting
people.
trans people going into the bathrooms of whatever sex they quote unquote want to identify.
Okay,
as
so you
now.
think trans people are at a greater likelihood of assaulting people in these bathrooms? Can you give me any evidence of that?
I didn't say that. I just you asked me how.
That's what you're arguing. You're arguing that like
That's
trans
not what I'm
people
arguing. You
are
see,
a
you're
threat
having-
in
you're having
bathrooms, and
trouble
I would
listening,
argue that
Parker.
trans
No, you're
people are
just
not the
having
threat in
trouble listening.
bathrooms. I don't think
you're
that.
just having
I don't think
trouble
it's.
listening.
Well, I think you're having trouble
listening.
listening to my response.
Yeah, because it's stupid.
No, it's not. I'm having
But
trouble
it's-
listening to your points because they're stupid.
It's pretty. You're having trouble directly answering them, so clearly it's not.
No,
stupid.
I addressed everything you
showing
had
the
to say already.
fallacy- It's showing the fallacy in your
Hey,
in your
Kobe.
stance.
Kobe.
Hey, what's up, Santana?
Why are you sitting here harassing my friends and being
Dude,
disingenuous?
Santana, I don't want to have a discourse with you right now. man.
No. If
We're
you're
not
gonna
doing
talk to
this right
Parker, if you're gonna talk to Parker, make sure you're being genuine. You already know these things, so not to talk about transgender people. Now give them a different
Santana,
argument.
first
Be
of all,
honest about it, Kobe.
How are you this morning? I'm sorry.
I'm doing well, except I'm sitting here watching, and I see that you're up here harassing one of my friends, and I'm like, what is he doing?
Well, because I don't think he's being genuine at all. I think this is a very good question, and I think he's
No,
having
it's
trouble
not. It's an
answering it.
absolute dog shit question. To be totally honest with you, like
It's
I
really,
talk
you want
to
to
people.
talk to the families that have gone through. It's a dog shit. Are you serious? You want to?
It is an absolute dog shit question because you don't give a flying fuck about sexual assault because you voted for a rapist yourself.
Oh, okay.
Wait, could you name you just tried to bring up things that would
That's a
specifically
crazy
reduce SA?
statement.
Can you give
I
me
hope you
any
get
evidence that Can you give me any evidence that restricting trans people from being in the bathrooms that they identify with would reduce SA from happening?
Sure. If you remove that person that is committing, we're specifically talking about.
So trans people shouldn't be allowed to go to the bathroom?
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
Okay, so then you're saying trans people, when they go into a different bathroom, won't assault people in that bathroom, given that you said that they were assaulting people? They just stop assaulting people, given that they go to a different bathroom? What the fuck are you talking about,
You're
dude?
just changing. No, let's stop. Let's stop ranting.
Which bathroom
Let's
should trans
breathe.
people go to?
Parker, let's breathe. Let's breathe. Okay.
Let's answer.
And listen to my point. Okay, yeah. I think you say I like how you want people to answer, but you refuse to do that same thing. Let's breathe. Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out.
This is so cringe. Spencer, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Spencer. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll definitely make sure. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Darling, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. He said this guest is always up on Santana's Live and gets dog walked. Very true. Very true. Amy, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Amy. Tilo, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Tilo, thank you. Give me some W's for them in the comment section right now. Taryn with the $5. Thank you so much. Powers with the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me catch up on YouTube as well. We got some people to catch up on YouTube as well. We got some people on YouTube to catch up with. Thank you so much.
And again, stop treating my friend like this, because if you think I'm a good guy, Parker's a better one. Like, be respectful.
No, I really don't think Parker.
Be respectful.
I will, but like I think.
Tilo, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Boop, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Laura, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. And Rachel, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
Are you done, Parker?
Yep.
All right. So I would like to restate my barriers here, just for the sake of conversation, so we can have a consistent dialogue here.
How about this one, Kobe? Can you tell Parker why you actually voted for Trump?
No, Santana, we're gonna get into that. Don't worry.
No.
Hey,
Tell him
don't worry
why
about
you voted for Trump.
We'll get into that. And I have no problem answering that question. We'll get into that. But I really want to hear Parker's answer to this question. And Santana, if you'd like to, budge into here, by all means.
I've given you my
do
answer
so.
multiple times. I'm sorry if you can't accept the answer.
No, because I'm not accepting the answer because it wasn't a direct answer to my question.
It was a direct answer.
Okay, so so if I'm a family, if I'm a parent of a daughter that has been sexually assaulted by someone who is transgender, you're going to tell me stop voting for someone, stop voting for, I don't even know what your answer was. That's how stupid it was, but that's the
So
answer.
So you had trouble listening to my answer?
No, I heard your answer, but it's just pretty stupid.
No, wait. Then what was my answer?
Your answer was we shouldn't vote for someone who accepts that or does that action, I guess.
Is that all I said?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all you said. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like you had trouble listening to it.
So what else did you say apart from that then?
Yeah. So I said specifically, we have to address it from society. We have to believe victims.
That's
right? We actually have to create a culture.
Before?
Hold up.
You said all that before?
Yes. You want to bet?
No, you didn't.
You want to bet? How much money do you want to put on that?
You owe me money already, so I don't want to bet you.
I owe you money? Who the fuck are you?
You owe me money.
What do I owe you money for?
As well? Huh?
What do I owe you money for? Who the fuck are you?
Okay, so
wait, have I debated you before?
No.
No. So how the fuck do I owe you money? You
haven't
dipshit.
debated me directly. We had.
Then how do I owe you money? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I haven't debated you, but yet I owe you money. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I've debated you, but not on your platform.
Okay, you have debated me, so you're lying. You lied. By the way, do you see the? You might have trouble listening to rules, right? What does it say on the rules?
Well, I would.
No, tell me. What does it say?
Never debated me before.
So it seems like you have an issue following rules, right? You have an issue listening to the rules.
Before you get kicked, Kobe, tell Parker why you voted for Trump.
I will, but I will.
No, Kobe. Tell him now. Why did you vote for Trump? Because a lot of people base their actual vote on policy or.
Sure. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell him. Yeah. Tell him. Policy would be his stance on abortion.
No. Why did you vote for him, Kobe?
His stance on abortion for one of the very few reasons.
So if you won't tell him, Kobe, I'll tell him. So Parker,
my gosh.
The reason why Kobe actually voted for Trump is because apparently some of his fraternity brothers had an opportunity to go golf with Trump.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
And he didn't get the opportunity, but once their family friends supported,
their family friends were all we all I'm not going to say we're friends with him, but we but that's not the only reason.
Did Trump cheat while playing?
He didn't get a chance.
Speak English, Parker.
The other people got to golf, but Kobe didn't make the trip.
No, we were all there, but the parents were the ones that were actually golfing. We were all in attendance.
Did the parents tell you that he cheated?
He cheated in what?
While playing golf? We have him on literally camera cheating while playing golf
all the time.
I wouldn't say all the time, but I think golf is a pretty integral game. So I don't know about that. Anyways, so yeah, his stance on abortion, pretty much.
Wait, are you Christian?
I am.
Do you believe in separation of church and state?
Of course I do.
Okay, if you believe in separation of church and state, then why would Christianity be a reason why abortion should be illegal?
Did I say Christianity was a reason, bro? I didn't even get into reasons. You see,
so Christianity isn't a reason?
Difficult time.
Okay, so then why is it a reason?
Maybe you should put that the substance that you abuse and just try and you're in a new state and everything. You should probably.
Yeah, I should get elevated right now. Totally real. Trudy, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much, Trudy. I really appreciate it. Aaliyah, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Because the W's for Aaliyah in the comment section right now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Aaliyah. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Speaking of getting elevated, Santana, just give me a quick second, real quick. I just need a quick second.
I got you. Guys, as
go
Parker
ahead and you should
does
shave
his
while
thing.
you're at
Hold
it.
on, Kobe. Hold on. As Parker does his thing, guys, we're almost at 600,000 likes. Let's go ahead and get Parker up to 1 million likes. I know he has about an hour or so left. Let's make sure we're showing him some love. And also, if you want to support, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Let's take care of Parker. And last but not least, if you're a Trump supporter, get in the box. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter, you're over the age of 18, and you have not debated Parker before. Be ready to debate. If you don't meet any of those qualifications and you're a United States citizen, then you will get kicked. Make sure you respect the boundaries. Do all the wonderful things. Tap the screen. Kobe, question for you.
What's going on, Santana? Yeah.
You're a man of a certain age and possibly of a draft age. How do you feel about the fact that the United States military is now moving in position where we could actually move into a conflict with Venezuela super soon?
Well, given the fact that I really don't know that much on what's going on in Venezuela, I will say, I mean, that's a part. I'm a citizen of this country, so whatever happens, happens. You know, if I'm put up to, join the draft or whatnot, I believe it's an American citizen.
I thought Donald Trump was like pro-peace, right? He's the most pro-peace president ever. Why is he, positioning to us to be in an actual, all-out war with Venezuela?
I do think a common tactic of his, specifically when negotiating, is fear-mongering. Whether or not I believe that's a correct way of going about negotiations, that's a separate conversation. But I don't really think he'll actually engage in a said war with Venezuela. But I do believe
But did you know the Venezuelan president tried to negotiate with him, and Trump turned down all offers, and he's not trying to negotiate at all? He's literally just moving more military into the area.
Right. So I think at the end of the day, although I don't agree with Trump's character in full, what I will say is I do think he, at times, especially when it comes to wars like this, he'll act in America's best interest, and he will be, in terms of his negotiating tactics, he will act as radical as needed in order to get, his way in what seems to be the best interest of this country.
Wait, so do you think a president that is acting radical or erratic is someone that's fit to be commander-in-chief?
No, well, I think in certain scenarios, you do have to be extreme to get your way, if that answers your question.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you a directing question here.
Man. See, I was having a great. Okay.
No. This is Parker's show, Kobe. Stop
you're
it.
Right. Go
Parker
on,
has a question.
Yeah.
Go on.
Do you believe in like fundamental values of this country, America?
Do I believe in fundamental values? I mean, given the fact that this. I mean, not really. No, I believe to a certain extent, yes, I guess.
Okay.
But
what fundamental values of America do you believe in?
I mean, what's your point? Because that could take like 30. I can, that'll be.
Name me like 5 to 10, if you can.
Well, how about you name me what you want us to talk about, and then we can go from there.
I mean, I just want to know which ones you support.
I mean, I really. That's it. So what values do? I mean, I don't know. I can't really. I guess I can't answer that question right now. I don't know.
You don't know fundamental American values that you support?
I do, but I don't. I just want to really understand your point here.
I want to know. Just can you tell me some fundamental values of America that you support, man?
Yeah, freedom of street speech. What's good? Why is your eyes?
No, keep going.
Yeah, freedom of speech. I believe that. I mean, I don't know what else. I'm kind of blanking here, but look, let's get.
I'll give you time. Point? Don't worry. Take your time.
What's your point? I just really want to understand your point here.
Well, I seriously just want to know what fundamental core American values that you support. And you've mentioned one. So I would love to hear the other ones. Could you tell me, please?
I mean, I don't know. I guess freedom to trade, I guess, in a sense.
Okay. Free trade. What else?
Not really. Yeah. Those are two. That's two. We can go off that.
Do you have any more that you can mention off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head now.
No. Okay. So based upon the two that you brought up in terms of core American values that you support, free speech and free trade, I'll give you examples how Donald Trump actually undermines both of those. Donald Trump.
So is that your point? I mean, we were having a pretty good dialogue
hold up. Can I please? I let you speak. Hold up. Let me respond. Free speech.
Ahead,
he passed an executive order to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag, which is a violation of the First Amendment according to the Supreme Court.
I agree with that.
Because burning the American flag is symbolic speech. He's also specifically, multiple courts have indicated that he has been violating people's due process rights, which is ingrained in the context of the Constitution and in terms of free speech aspects. Like, for example, Mahmoud Khalil said free Palestine and was literally detained for over 100 days without due process, right? Just for speaking his mind. That's it. So that specifically is an example of him violating free speech In that very basis, he's also talked about making, like he said, the media organizations should be considered illegal in certain contexts. Their licenses should be taken away. And he's also specifically in terms of TikTok, he said that if he could, he would make it 100% MAGA, meaning that if he could, he would suppress the other side. And then in terms of free trade, I mean, he's imposed tariffs, which are definitely not imposing free trade.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I believe in certain scenarios, I think it is acceptable to go to. Why you smile like that, bro? Let's try and be normal for a second here, bud. I know you can handle your, we've all been there. Let's try and act cordial here. Yeah, I think in certain scenarios, you can oppose those values just to, how do I frame this? Like, I think you can go against your value to get back what exactly you believe. Does that make, like, I believe you can go against that said value to bring back that value. If that makes sense. I don't know if that's
go against the value. Really, like really going against the value is bringing back the value. Can you explain what you mean?
Go against actions that are anti that value to bring back that value.
Could you give me an example?
Yeah, like the free trade stance. Like, I believe, what he's trying to, like, eventually try to accomplish, putting tariffs in place, I think is, like, do you believe tariffs are a bad thing?
What is free trade? What is it free from?
I understand. Is from tariffs.
I just want to know, what is it? What is free trade free from?
Tariffs. From tariffs.
No, not just tariffs. From restrictions in the market. Tariffs are a restriction in the market. Therefore, it means it's not free trade.
Right. I understand that, but in order to bring back, I think, what word should I use here? Like, to bring, I don't know if it's fairness, if I should use that, or to bring back like equality or equity in the trade market. I think you do need to implement tariffs.
So you want diversity, equity, and inclusion?
In a sense.
What does that even mean? Can you clarify?
Yeah, like, I do believe tariffs will, and like in the long run, help American businesses strive. Like, I do think that'll increase our GDP. I think that'll increase our
no, net decreases our GDP because we start trade wars with countries around the world. Did you know that?
For all these, yeah, no,
like,
but they're
and that leads to our businesses not being demanded in their countries. It reduces innovation. It reduces competition. And don't just take it from me. Fucking Ronald Reagan said it also. Ronald Reagan, the Republican Party's favorite, right, said this.
Okay, all right. I mean, look, I guess maybe I'm not conceptualizing this right. I guess I got it off on the wrong foot, but yeah, I guess we can move on to another point. He asked me why I supported Trump. I said because of abortion. So,
genuinely, no. I don't care to go into any other further point. I honestly just wanted to embarrass you on that and then go on to the next person, to be totally honest with you. All right, let's go on to the next individual. Only send a Do you support Donald Trump?
I'd say it's the lesser of the two evils.
What's your birthday?
2007.
What month?
June.
Okay. And you said that Donald Trump is the lesser of the two evils, so you would vote for him? Or you wouldn't vote?
Yeah, I would. I would.
Okay, why so?
Over Kamala, yeah.
Kamala. What time is it?
Let me check. 12:47.
He had to look it up? It's crazy, bro. Why wouldn't you just look at the bottom of your screen? Let's go go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debate.
Oh.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I am 39 years old.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
What's your birth year? MAGA math. So the next individual, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Alrighty, do give it a second. Everyone, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. It seriously helps get it out to more people. Alrighty, let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. Alrighty. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 28. I'm kind of embarrassed to be here. Can I just say one thing? So this is why I think...
But before you do you support Donald Trump?
Yes and no.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for if you had the knowledge that you have right now?
With the knowledge I have right now, I would definitely vote Democrat. But I would like to just make this statement really quickly. I think that...
Vote for Donald Trump?
Can I just say one thing real quick before you take...
No. I am just looking for debates right now, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Alright. I'm at 2.
You're 18? What's your birth year?
2007, April.
What state do you live in?
What, sorry?
What state do you live in?
What state? Ohio.
What time is it?
You got me there.
Jesus. Let's go to the next individual. Everyone, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Please, everybody, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria. We are just looking for some debates, everyone. Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
What's your birth year?
2007.
What month?
December.
December? That was horrible math. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
עם ישראל חי, עם ישראל חי.
I don't even know what they were saying. I literally just didn't hear a response to the thing, so I literally just immediately kicked. I literally have just muscle memory where if I don't hear an answer to my question, I just kick people. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi, Parker.
Okay, what the fuck, dude? Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
7.
Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
22, baby.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah.
What's your birth year?
2002.
What month?
October.
Okay. What day?
22.
So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I just turned, actually.
How old are you?
Sorry, I'm 19. I cut out. I just turned 19, actually.
What's your birth year?
2000.
I can hear you and you swept out of the app, just letting you know.
2006. I'm not leaving. Okay. October.
Okay.
16.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Actually, if I could go back in time, I would vote for neither of them. I would probably vote.
So the next individual, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Everybody, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen. Everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Just letting everyone know, for everyone who's trying to come up who doesn't actually support Donald Trump, you're limiting my ability to be able to get debates up here. I don't have as long of a stream today. And it's limiting my ability to get the debates going. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo,
Hey, y'all, what's up? 29.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Of course.
What's your birth year?
1999. 1996.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Who do you think, bro? Donald. Of course. 100%.
Okay. Why is that?
Because the man is the reason United States is flourishing right now.
Okay. What makes you think that?
Well, he's the prime minister.
He's not the prime minister.
President, my bad. I was just in the UK live. Yeah, he the president right now, and he don't want to make everybody do good things. He started the war in where's that place over in the Middle East? I can't even remember what it's called. That Middle East place, Israel. He stopped the war there.
The ceasefire is not upheld.
Yeah, but that ain't his fault.
I mean, but he didn't get a deal done between them. So
no, he did, but they broke it. He did, but they broke it, dude.
So why do you
say he can do so much, but it's not up to him to stop the shooting in the streets and stuff, you know?
Didn't Biden do the same thing?
No. Biden was incapable. Biden could barely put a sentence
Biden had a ceasefire before Trump got in office. Did you know that?
Biden was struggling to even stand up on.
Somehow you already got flagged for harassment and bullying? I'm assuming that was from a different stream, because no one gets a flag that quickly on the stream unless it's from a prior stream. That's the quickest fucking flag I've ever seen. Fucking flag. Sorry, why did I say 2 minutes, bro? Crazy, dude. Recollection of time right now is diabolical. If you experience any lag on TikTok right now, I'd recommend to go over to the YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to support me, as always, everyone, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Yeah, what's up, how old are you?
21.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Not anymore. I have a question for you.
I'm sorry, I am just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Oh. Just got a thing. Kyle, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Emma, thank you so much for the $2 to put towards the next Benjamin. Thank you. Barbara, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Get some W's for Barbara in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Barbara. That is so kind of you. W's for Barbara in the comment section right now. Absolutely. Thank you so much. As always, we will. Ren, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $25. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. They said from the Williams Institute, there's no evidence that allowing trans people into the bathrooms that they align with their gender identity jeopardizes safety and privacy. Literally, though. And trans people report negative experiences like harassment and violence when accessing bathrooms that literally are not related to their identity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Elise, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. Joe, I really appreciate the $5. Thank you. I know, it's getting really brutal. Spencer, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you so much, Spencer. All right, let's go to the next person here real quick, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. Fabian, thank you so much for the $4.20. Yes, I every once in a while do on Twitch.
It's not racist for a white guy to say
How old are you?
negative, right?
You're just so disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Did Parker update the studio? No, I'm in New York right now. Visiting. I'll be back to my normal setup tomorrow. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
What's your birth year?
2007.
What month?
October 6th.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for? Okay, they left. Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, I'm 21.
What's your birth year?
March 19, 2003 is my birthday.
You'd be 22.
Yes, sorry.
Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. You look exhausted trying to explain the rules. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but it's all right. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes.
What's your birth year?
2007.
What month?
April.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, why so?
He's just such a better candidate than Kamala Harris. She's a weakling.
Kamala. Why? Why do you think that?
She bleeds fear. She's feared.
Okay, I'm not gonna act like I don't think he's a troll. Like, I mean, literally, like, I think he's a troll. He sounds like a troll. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
What's your birth year?
2007.
Okay, what month?
August.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who'd you rather vote for?
Trump.
Why so?
Because he's the GOAT. You're a nigger.
Dude, this is so gross. This is so fucking disgusting. Literally just low IQ MAGA. No arguments, no actual dialogue or conversation. Literally just using slurs. So fucking gross. Yeah, what's up? How old are you?
24.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
What's your birth year?
2001, April.
Okay, if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Why so? They just left. Bro, what's going on? Wait, what the hell? I'm so confused. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. We got about 30 minutes or so left on the stream, everyone. I'll keep everyone updated. It honestly depends on the time schedule. I think I'll probably have like 30 more minutes. Like 20 more minutes or so. And at this rate, I won't even get another debate, chat.
Love you, Parker.
Appreciate you. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. I might end it here pretty soon, to be totally honest. I don't know how much longer I can go. We'll see. Yeah, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 24. Sorry, I love you so much. That's all I had to say.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Me? 40.
Yeah. Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I would vote for Trump again.
Okay. And why is that?
I do want to debate you. I know you've been getting a bunch of retards up here that make us all look
You
idiots.
literally just used a slur, dude. Oh my god, bro. I can't do this, bro. This is so annoying. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody.
Last time there, because I usually don't use my
Yo,
real
what's up?
age.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
What's your birth year?
March 19th, 2003.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
To be honest with you, I still will say Trump, but I just want to say that I think it would be the best of both evils, if you would. They're both not very good people, and they have policies that have messed with the American people, like Democrat and Republicans, I'm trying to say, for the past 10 years. And I just think that we lean so far one way or another that we kind of can't step off, you know what I mean? And we don't open up our eyes enough to maybe vote for a different candidate or an independent, right? And I feel like it kind of just sucks because we're stuck with these either super left or super right, and then we just keep tugging of war, you know what I mean, for 20 years or 10 years or however long, right?
Okay. Why do you think Trump is preferable?
I like his economic policies better than Kamala. I know that's kind of crazy with the tariffs and everything, right? But I just look at things differently. And I am I'm a 22-year-old investor. I am a father. I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I make good money. So I'm very proud, and I'm an entrepreneur, right? So sorry, this is my first time like debating, so it's kind of cool.
Okay, so like my point would be this: like economically speaking, he's worse off for the country as a whole. So if you're just saying that like economically speaking, you just mean like you get an extra bit of a tax cut because you make over $400,000 a year.
I don't make that much. I see what you mean. Yep.
Okay, then you would pay more in taxes under Trump's admin.
For sure, yeah. I'm just saying that specific businesses that I currently operate with are better for, I guess you could say they are quote unquote better for me, but also like you got to think too is that like, what do you think workers are employed by, right? They're employed by businesses, unless obviously you are an entrepreneur and you do your own thing, right? So unfortunately, like I understand what you're saying and I agree with you. And I wish that maybe we had like better unions, right? Or maybe we had like, let's think like a cut or a cap on like donations to politicians because then they won't benefit them as much, right?
So I guess I'm confused with what your perspective is here because it seems like Trump's worse on that.
No, I'm just saying like, yeah, he's more pro-business in my personal opinion.
Okay. So for income under 400,000, which would be applicable to you, he's definitely not better, and he's definitely not pro-business for being pro-tariffs.
Yeah, well, I personally think that American is pushing American businesses actually because you're not going, comparing to like if you took shit from. Sorry, oh my gosh, I just cussed. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
I'm so sorry. But like he's taking stuff from China, right? Like, because like that is what like for example our e-commerce is, right? Like Amazon, a lot of stuff is coming from China or from Taiwan, you know what I mean, or other countries, right? Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like it's pushing American businesses or businesses in general to those countries instead of America, right? So when we have tariffs that kind of say, hey, listen, we have to have businesses come back to America and start investing into America instead of going to China because it is cheaper there, right? And that I do run e-commerce, by the way. I do e-commerce and all that stuff, right? So I understand that game. And a lot of stuff does come from China. It does come from Taiwan. And we can't compete with child laborers, right? We can't compete with that stuff.
So oftentimes the tariffs are not placed on countries that would be applicable to. Plus, if you place it on the entire country, it actually creates conditions for worse off labor standards, not better off labor standards. If you specifically want to address like certain like practices like that, you have to tariff like the specific companies. Those will all be targeted tariffs. This won't be universalized tariffs. And the universalized tariffs that Trump's advocated for, they increase the cost of domestic manufacturing in the United States because we get many of the aspects of our domestic manufacturing process from countries around the world, such as materials. So the idea that like it's going to lead to better conditions for manufacturing is definitely not true.
For sure, and I agree with you on some aspects, 100%. But like for example, like the Intel situation, right? The AMD, that kind of is our own little way. And I honestly, I don't even know how I feel about that, right? How do you feel about like governments investing in companies? Because that's kind of interesting. I feel like it's like more state run at that point, like China, right?
Yeah, I don't really see like a need for our government to do that. I think that's a bit ridiculous to like own parts of companies.
But I do feel that way too. But then also I'm kind of thinking like, well, is it also good because like that is what China does, right? And like their people are obviously doing really well, right? And not that I support everything that China is doing, obviously, right?
So when it comes to this, I definitely don't think that like we would want to adopt a model where we start buying different of the government firms, and I don't think that the government firms being bought in China is specifically the level of growth that they've seen. The level of growth they've seen is actually from the deregulation. I'm not trolling.
No, for sure.
Heavily associated with the deregulation.
No, 100%. Also, yeah, I agree with you on that. So to kind of stem back, I guess, like to the economy,
and by
right?
deregulation, I want to clarify. At a point of overregulation, deregulation is beneficial.
Oh,
but
100%.
if you're underregulated, then regulations are beneficial. It's a gradient, a medium.
That could be a 50-50, yeah, for sure. Because like depending on your business, right? Like if you're like, for example, crypto and you're unregulated, and so like you can do one thing and then you'll get in trouble, right? And I'm not talking about like scam coins. I'm talking about like Coinbase, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Do you understand kind of like what I'm saying though? Is that like they had an over usage of government within the context of the market. So a deregulation from their perspective will be more beneficial than it would be from our perspective. Because if anything, we're underregulated in plenty of aspects. So certain regulations are over-regulations, but mostly I think that the regulations we have are beneficial, if not too little.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I guess it just depends on I don't know. I guess it depends on the industry too. I guess honestly, like all industries are affected differently, and he also has like for example the tariffs. Like if it's on steel, right, it's going to affect certain industries that use a lot of steel, right, and then lumber, right, like lumber also is another thing too, of course, for like housing and all that, right. But I guess to kind of get back to like what you were talking about earlier, I feel like he kind of did he not put a lot of tariffs on majority of the countries, but they weren't meant to stay there, right? They were meant to like, hey, like we're going to keep these on you forever. You know, like how they are, right, with their whole administration. It's for negotiation, right? They want people to start investing more into America, things of such.
Yeah, so and that's led to a lesser degree because of the fact that domestic manufacturing is more expensive in our country now.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. It might be more expensive for a little bit as they're negotiating, but obviously, some things may stay in place, right? Which is stupid. Like, I think there's a better way to go about it, right? Go to a country and talk to them and let them know how you feel and how you can change things, right? Yeah. And not impose I agree with you, and that's kind of why I'm like, I do support Trump over Kamala, but do I really support him? Kamala, sorry. But do I really support him?
I don't think you do though. Like, because think about it this way: the taxation, both sides are advocating for taxation, right? Mm-hmm. It's whether or not the taxes have a regressive or progressive impact that's really the difference. Tariffs have a regressive negative impact because the tax is placed on the cost of production, not the profits taken out.
Yep.
So when you place it on the cost of production, more of it's going to be passed down proportionally.
But can we agree, though, to be honest with you, that's not really like a political issue. That's more of an economic issue because our money supply is not linked to
political
anything.
Because it's economic.
It's infinitely, no, for sure. But like the thing about it, though, the thing that's being paid with, the thing that's being issued to work that you're working for every day that you're maybe getting paid in right now and to talk on here, right, is issued in U.S. dollars, right? I'm guessing you get paid in U.S. dollars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that same dollar that you are working for every day is being infinitely printed away, and it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. It's backed by the trust of your government, and obviously we see how that's working.
Wait, no, I mean I actually think fiat currency is preferable to the gold standard, and I can give you plenty of reasons.
Like it more?
Yes, I think having the ability to manipulate your money supply is an incredibly important thing. Now, you could say that it's been manipulated in the wrong way in certain contexts, but it's incredibly important, especially for differences in population size, production capacity, etc. That could be relevant because you could have all these demand lags essentially if you don't increase money supply.
Like exactly, to kind of like just get debt, right? Exactly. Well, I think
because think about it this way. When I say demand lag, I mean we have the productive capacity to do this, but we're not doing that because there's not enough demand in the market to do so.
Yep. So what are you trying to say? Like create artificial demand?
No, it's well, I guess in a certain sense, I think it's
That's kind of what I was
it's a
wondering. I'm
certain
sorry.
level
I'm
of
not
artificial
saying it's to be
demand,
mean. I'm
but
just
but
wondering.
but yeah, I wouldn't view it as artificial because it's going to be relative to the real productive services we have.
Like eventually is what you're saying, right?
only increase money supply in relation to the real productive services increases that we have. If we do it more, you'll see inflation. Right, and some level of inflation is okay. We actually we want a certain level of target inflation because it's really good for reducing the essentially how much debt is valued for people who take out debt to then incentivize investment, which is beneficial.
Okay, that's interesting.
And
I'm gonna
also
give you a
incentivizes
follow.
growth.
I'm gonna give you a follow. I really like, and by the way, I really like what you're doing, like keeping debates open with everyone, and no matter what side they're on, I really respect that. And I think that's really important, especially after what just happened recently with no matter what side it's on, and anything like shooting, all the bad things, like that happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
But I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you coming up.
Yep, you have a good one.
You as well. You as well. That was a good conversation. Let's go on to the next individual. Increases the mood. Good conversation increases mood, makes it better off. Emily, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. I've definitely thought about it. I don't think I will, though. Aline, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Karen, thank you so much for the $10. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Danielle, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Again, the $5. Thank you so much. Again, if you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. This seemingly is going to be the last conversation, everyone, probably. This will probably be the last conversation, just letting everyone know. Tomorrow I'll be back to normal times. I don't know if I'll be live. I think maybe later in the day. I'll keep everyone updated on Instagram if I'll be live later in the day or early in the morning, like right now. But it won't be as early as what it was today. Because I started really early today because we're out here in New York. What's normal time? I typically either do 9 a.m. Pacific time or what's it called? Or 5 p.m. Those are typically the different times. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Well, let's go on the next individual. And that was diabolical, chat. The voice cracking, it was diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. Yo, what's up? How old are you? What's it called? My friends and I, we went to Times Square yesterday, and literally the memes that went through my brain at Times Square are crazy. And then at one point, because we made a joke about the New York song, and then because we're in New York and we're going that way, and then we heard people playing it, and we all looked at each other like, what? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Did you get a slice? Yes. We accidentally ordered a little bit too much pizza. I think it was 2 nights ago or something. So we've been eating every night when we get back. We've been eating and heating up the pizza because we actually got a little bit too much. We thought they were gonna be small, but they were huge pizzas. What kind of pizza? I think it was called Joe's Pizza or something like that. Okay. And you said you're how old again?
I'm 20.
Okay. And if you could go back. She's Christian herself. And she wouldn't be like, oh, because you're Christian, you should leave or anything. That's not something she would ever do.
Okay. Yes, that's actually what I was going to bring up. I don't know. It sounds kind of, I'm still trying to understand politics a little more. So, but
doesn't have as much to do with politics, to be totally honest with you. Like, realistically, there's no real big difference in policy based upon your prescription of gender or how you use the term. But like when it comes to the policies like that were supported by the different candidates, limiting access to food does, right? And God in the Bible literally does spawn manna and from heaven and give people access to that, right? So there are plenty of circumstances where we can bring up where Christians, right, are told by their Lord specifically to feed, right, the poor, feed the hungry, right, ensure that people are taken care of. And when Donald Trump undermines that, it doesn't make sense to me how people could say that they would support Christianity while also simultaneously wanting to do something like that.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Trump, about how he's, I guess, kind of negatives about him. And I guess I'm just trying to learn. And I don't hate anyone, by the way. I accept people who they are. And I guess I'm just still trying to learn. And I've been watching you and Dean's lives. And I've been wanting to debate you guys. But I know it sounds stupid, but I've just been trying to learn. And I'm only 20. I just got married. So it's kind of been, I don't know, harder for me. So, and I know I'm sorry I'm taking some of your time, but I've been trying to understand it. And it sounds kind of stupid, but I guess
formed yourself yet, right? And it is the case that you're going based upon like things that you've learned throughout your life, right? And it is the case that you just need to do a bit of research, really, right? It seems like you're genuine, right? It seems like you care. And like, I think based upon the points that I bring up, I think that like would be convincing, you know, to like see like from a different perspective, really like, okay, it's like we have the same values. We both want to ensure people are taken care of. Who's really actually doing that? And I would argue Donald Trump isn't doing that. And I think that's very clear with the research that I specifically have done myself. And I think that if you do research yourself, you will also come to that same conclusion, that Donald Trump specifically, he's not doing things to benefit working class Americans or the average American. He's doing things necessarily to benefit the richest and wealthiest Americans, which isn't something that specifically Jesus would advocate for. Jesus would advocate to help all. And the reality of the matter is that rich and wealthy Americans are still going to be rich and wealthy under a Democratic administration. They're going to be fine. They're going to be good. But that can't be said for the same for people who won't have their health insurance, for people who won't have access to food, for people who won't have access to basic amenities, right? So I think that's the important way that we should probably look at this, to be like, okay, really, how does someone's life change if they're rich and they have to pay a little bit more in taxes? Not that much.
Yes, I appreciate your take on it. And I'm obviously really nervous talking to you right now, but I don't know. I'm not lost, but I also think I feel a little bit lost in politics, but I'm willing to learn and just understand your guys' side and why I shouldn't support Trump. And I guess I've been trying to get away from like just sticking on Christian values, which they're my values, and that's something I'll, but I also am very accepting of people, and I like don't hate anyone. But it's really cool you know stuff from the Bible too. I appreciate that, but I'm just trying to learn, and I'm just really nervous too right now. So I guess that's my take on it at
You're
the
good.
moment.
Don't worry. One thing that I've noticed throughout my life, and this is from someone, I'm not Christian anymore. I grew up Christian though. One thing that brings people closer to Christianity is love and acceptance. Right? That brings people closer to Christianity. What turns people away from Christianity is when people utilize their religion to restrict people from doing things that, they don't believe to be like in a secular sense to be wrong, right? Like I think those are the things that pull people away from Christianity. If it was the case that we focus more on like specifically like, taking care of others, right? Being there for everyone, ensuring that everyone's taken care of as a society, you're going to bring more people to your religion inevitably, because they feel that love and acceptance, and they want to be more closer to that love and acceptance, right? But like if you create barriers, right, and restrictions and all of these different things while utilizing the religion, it kind of pushes people away.
It does. It kind of seems like being a hypocrite, which I understand what you're saying. But I wish there was people more like me, like who accepting and is willing to give love and stuff. But I'm just, you could still be a Christian and still be liberal. I agree with that. There's like some people who say you can't, but I disagree with that. I
think there's people on both sides that say, oh, you can't be on this side, you can't be on that side and be Christian. But what I would really say is that, like, what does Jesus mainly talk about in the Bible? Does Jesus mainly talk about restricting people from doing things, or providing love, acceptance, and taking care of others? Because I think Jesus
Yes,
talked a lot about
yes.
taking care of others and love and acceptance. And I don't think that he talked a lot about restricting people from doing certain things, utilizing the law.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't. Yeah, there's nowhere in the Bible where, I mean, he talks about love, treat people with kindness. You know how you want to be treated. Jesus was a very kind human being, and you know, I wasn't obviously none of us were around during his time, but yeah, acceptance is a big thing too, and I've accepted a lot of people in my life who growing up I didn't think I could because how I was raised, but I'm very willing to do that now and maybe not necessarily switch sides, but I'm very going into this debate I was going to, you know, sad voted for Trump, and I'm sorry I'm taking some of your time, Parker, but
Don't worry.
I don't know, I just with my siblings and growing up they was also raised like me and stuff, but I've learned a lot. I'm trying to learn a lot on like TikTok as an example, on social media and being around people. My husband is majoring in theater, and that's a lot of people who's of the LGBTQ community and stuff, but he's very accepting, and I'm learning, and that's just an example, but I'm not, you know, a Christian who, you know, doesn't like that group, but I'm just guess trying to learn more about politics too. So
Yeah, I think you're on the right path. I think you're doing a good job trying to critically think and look into these things. And I really empathize with, you know, growing up in a Christian conservative household and, you know, reflecting upon those views, deconstructing them and changing them over time, as the same thing happened to me. Right. And I was able to change my perspectives, take into account different perspectives. And it's also not saying you have to agree with me on everything. It's to, you know, just take into account my perspective, see if you agree with it, try to think and critically think of what position you hold to. And realistically, that's going to create conditions, right, for, you know, for a better society, right, for more love and acceptance. Exactly kind of like what Jesus was advocating for from your perspective, right?
yes, I agree with that, and I guess that was guess a couple reasons why, but maybe I need to look at it from just not that. I need to actually look at the policies as well, and just I've been learning a lot from you and Dean. So I guess you guys are about my age. You guys are 22, 23, right? So
23.
Yes. So I've been learning a lot from both of you. So I watch you guys a lot. So I actually got called on earlier and backed out because I was nervous. So I'm really appreciative that you called me again.
You're good. Don't worry. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or go over before I get off for today?
Well, number one, how do you say Kamala's name again?
Kamala.
Kamala. Okay. Sorry about that. And two, I appreciate your advice. Is there any last advice words you would like to close out or say to me?
Yeah, I would just say keep critically thinking, keep looking in, keep doing research, keep taking into account both sides, keep being genuine. You seem very nice, and I just want to say I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, you're very nice, and I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, this made my day to actually talk to you.
Well, I appreciate you coming up. Have a great day.
Thank you too. Bye, Parker.
Bye. Alrighty, everybody. I'm gonna actually get. Oh, I actually literally can't. Hold up 1 second. Sorry, I actually had to use I couldn't because it was I can't speak right now. I'm sorry. It was kind of small, the ability to click the disconnect button. So I was trying to click over there's 3 buttons and it brings up this menu. And if you scroll off the menu, the menu goes away. And I was trying to get to the menu from the 3 dots and I couldn't. Gosh, that took me so long to get that out. Oh my gosh. Karen, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Aline, I really appreciate the $10 as well. Thank you. Let me make sure to check up on YouTube real quick. And then I'm going to get off real quick for a second. I love everyone so much. How many likes do we have on YouTube, everyone? How many likes? Did we hit 2,000? Yes, we did. Let's go. We hit 2,000. That's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate that. W for the 2,000 likes on YouTube. I'm going to be getting off here in a second. Let me say thank you to a few people real quick. Rachel, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Matt, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't think every fiat currency has ever failed. I think that's a ridiculous assertion. Also, I don't think that new money would decrease the value of the currency if as long as there's a productive increase. Like if there's an increase in productive services to account for the increase in demand, well then I wouldn't see that there would be much of an increase in price. Jay, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That's great. I hope so. I hope so. I'd have to see that particular poll and see that depiction. The idea is that they still vote for him in the context too. Julie, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Much. Gabe, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Jay, thank you for the $5. Aaliyah, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Tilo, thank you for the $5. Boop, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. I think I'm fully caught up. Thank you, everyone, for coming through. I love everyone so much. I will see everyone tomorrow, probably later in the day. Mark, thank you for the $1 in Venmo. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic night. What was your favorite part of NYC? I can't pick. I'm horrible at picking. Thank you so much, though, everyone. I love y'all. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Or good day, actually, technically. It's kind of still morning time.